Hey, everybody, welcome back. This is a podcast, the So Video Games podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Carlos Ranella, and this is where we talk about all the games we're playing and things either new or old or just came out. Who knows? And I have a co-host with me who's also 50% of the show, and it's Brad Galloway.
You remembered the 50% part. That's pretty good.
That's all it. I don't know what I was saying.
Pretty good effort. Pretty good effort. I mean, we've only done this like 200
geez.
times, so I don't blame you for not knowing it. So not a big deal.
I really should, and I literally blanked. I have no idea what you say.
This is the 355th episode.
The number of the episode, yeah.
Yes, we are at 355 today, folks. And as you can tell, Carlos stepped in for shits and giggles to do the opening since we were having such a fun time having him do the other intros.
Jeez.
And that was fun. That was funny. I got tears in my eyes. I was laughing at it. So good job, man.
That was so off the mark. It's ridiculous, but
you had heart. You had heart, and that's what counted. So here we are. It's the So Video Games podcast. New stuff, old stuff, anything in between. It is September 24th, 2023. I am Brad, as I was just introduced. Carlos is here. And Carlos puts seeds in his yogurt. That was the intro I had prepped. I guess I should say it. It's not going to be valid next week. You got seeds in your yogurt, man.
I love the chia seeds and the flax seed. I put all that in my yogurt with the little crumblies on top, and it's great.
You know you can make a pudding just out of chia seeds just by themselves. Have you had that?
No.
Chia seeds are weird. We're going to just diverge for a second here.
They are weird, but they have great fiber, and I need that, so that's why
chia seeds. No, they're dope, dude. I have them all the time. Chia seeds, if you get them wet, they put out a slimy exoskeleton or whatever. They coat themselves in slime.
Oh.
I don't know exactly how that works, but that's what happens. And so if you put a bunch of chia seeds in liquid, like let's say you put it in like a 2% milk, and you add some vanilla, and you put a bunch of seeds, all of a sudden, shabam, you've got like actual yogurt.
Oh, my goodness. You know what? That's why they're great for fiber in your digestive system, because they're making like a gel.
They are. They're gel-coated caplets once you get them wet.
I'm going to constantly eat them now.
They're so good, dude. I put them in oatmeal. I put them in yogurt. I put them in just about anything. And they're like mega healthy for you. So, yeah. Anyway.
Well, that's the name of this episode. Just chia seeds. Eat some chia seeds.
Chia seeds. Welcome to the Chia Seed Podcast, folks. No, we are So Video Games. We are going to talk about video games, and we're going to get things kicked off. We have a lot to talk about today. I feel like today is going to be a good show because it's kind of a... Oh gosh, I don't want to say a homecoming. I feel like it's kind of like the end result or the end of a long journey that we've been on the show. We'll get to that when we get there. But it starts with Cyber and it ends with Punk, and we're going to finally dig into that in a way that I know Carlos has been really wanting to talk about it for a while. I have not been able to until now.
Yeah.
But we're going to have that discussion at the end of the show. But before we get to that, let's do housekeeping, folks. Starting things off here, Carlos and I share a virtual living space divided down the middle with a strip of duct tape. His side, my side, things are a mess, and we're going to tidy up right here and right now. It's housekeeping. Carlos, what is on your side of the room, sir?
Well, I guess it's on both of our sides of the room.
There's a couple things we share that are like right in the middle, straddling the duct tape, yes.
The one that's the biggest box that's in the middle is the one we didn't talk about last week, which we should have, which is Unity.
We totally forgot. I can't believe we forgot to talk about the Unity fiasco.
But in general, I did a little deep dive on it, and if anybody doesn't know, you should know by now if you're following this podcast probably. But, Unity changed their rules to basically make developers pay for when anybody installs a game. Which is crazy. But what's even more crazy is it goes back. It's retroactive. So if you've already sold a game and it's done really, really well, and you never had to pay, now you have to pay for that game. That's nutsoid. But I think they're going to fix that, by the way. There's a couple updates to this story, and they said they got so much backlash that they might change some of it. But I just want to say this at the top. What thing isn't really being talked about a lot is the person that guy... I think his name's Riccatello or something from EA.
Yeah, John Riccatello.
He came over, to work on Unity, and he's, I think, one of the main reasons why this is happening. Because he's a money-hungry guy, right?
Yeah,
that's what he does.
Yeah, I mean, he's like the business kind of guy or whatever. And as many people on Twitter, I follow a lot of developers a lot of publishers, and the backlash for this. Many people made the joke that Unity. I mean, talk about ironic, because Unity was what people were feeling against Unity, because if there was one thing that everybody decided was bad and they hated immediately, it was this. It's like Unity is in a lot of things, and for them to do something like this, which is such a huge monumental change. I mean, we don't have to get into the nuts and bolts of it, but basically
we just said it. That's the nuts and bolts right there.
Sure, but I mean, like, drilling down even further to some of the minutia. But like the bottom line of this, as they presented it initially, was it was going to cost so much for a per install fee, which number one is insane, that no one would ever make games, because any money you would make from a game would be immediately eaten up by the Unity fee. And everybody in the world was like, this is fucking crazy. Unity's fucking crazy. They're already making a shitload of money. Why are they doing this? And a million people were like, fuck Unity, and they're dropping it. And I mean, that was like, they dropped a nuclear bomb on their own business, because this was like insane policy, totally wide sweeping, totally just out of hand, unreasonable. I guess they thought they owned video games or something. They thought they could do whatever they wanted, and everybody's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
So
the Cult of the Lamb developers made that really cool image they put on Steam. That was like basically like, we don't like it here, and we don't like what's happening. So
yeah, a lot of developers were very vocal about fuck Unity. We're leaving. We're doing something else. A lot of people going to Unreal or something else. So I mean, talk about shooting yourself in the foot, like multiple times, both ways, and then you turn the gun up and blow your balls off. Like Unity. Catastrophic, most boneheaded thing I've heard all year. I think at the end of the year, when we talk about like the year's biggest gaffes or the biggest mistakes, this has got to be like, if not number one, top three of like most boneheaded fucking things all year.
Yeah, it's number one. I mean, it's about game development, and how do you, like you just said, shoot your own developers in the foot, or in feet. So anyways, but I did hear just like yesterday that they're like, okay, fine, we're not going to do some of this. Like the retroactive thing, it's got to go. I mean, that's crazy.
Too late, though. Too late. Like, you showed your hand. Like, that just means they're going to do it later when they think they can get away with it. They're going to do it more quietly. They're going to sneak it in. Like, you showed your whole ass right there. And so now people are like, yeah, fuck off, dude.
But can I offer this up to the court, if I may?
Sure.
The Riccatello guy, businesses are run by a bunch of, sometimes assholes.
Sure.
And those assholes at the top make decisions for all the rest of the people, right?
True.
A ton of people at Unity are awesome people. And they just want to make people to make games. So I'm just wondering if it's just mainly this motherfucker. Because if you remember, I also did another deep dive. At EA, when he was at EA, he wanted to charge people per bullet for this one game.
What?
Yeah. I was like, did that almost happen?
Oh my god.
So if that's this motherfucker, then let's just like call it like it is, and maybe it's just this douchebag and get him out of there.
I mean, if Unity wants to save this, I mean, talk about Jesus pouring gasoline on yourself and lighting a match. If they want to turn this around, which I think they've done some severe damage already, but they'd have to like really publicly like fire. I don't know if it's him, but if it is him, fire that guy. Whoever's responsible for the shit, fire them publicly.
Yeah,
tar and feather them, send them out of town on a rail, and then you got to like mea culpa like to infinity, and then maybe you get some people back. But like they need to like, it's got to be more than just a tweet saying, "Oh yeah, we were hasty." Like that is not going to cut it.
No, I think it's getting rid of someone who made that decision.
Yeah,
that's a really good way to do it.
Yeah, have to.
All right. Anyways, that's all we have to say about that, but it's stupid. We all agree on that, obviously.
Yes.
And then, obviously, the bigger news almost was that Xbox leak that we didn't cover, I don't think, yet.
Not yet. I think it happened right after the show we recorded last time. I think that's why we didn't cover it. But go ahead. Recap, Carlos.
I have only a few things I want to break down. There's a lot that came out of it. Essentially what it was, I'm sure, again, if you're not under a rock, you know about this, is that during their whole acquisition talks, Microsoft with Activision Blizzard discussion, these documents were given to the what's that?
It was some kind of a court, like it was some kind of a court proceeding, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm trying to think what that's called, but it doesn't matter. And in that proceeding, there was these documents. This is from 2020, I guess, so it's a little while ago. But those documents basically got leaked. I heard someone say it was an Azure drive.
Because Azure is so secure.
Hilarious.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
And so some of the stuff was games, so it showed like a roadmap, all of which probably changed. People were like, "Oh, this is exactly what they're going to do." It's 3 years ago. I'm sure
plans change every 6 months, dude. Yeah,
but they did show Fallout 3 and Oblivion remaster, which is cool. I don't think you'd play those, but I probably would.
I probably wouldn't go back. I do like Fallout 3. I liked it back in the day, but I don't know that I would go back.
I don't know
for
if
a
I'd go back
remaster.
either, too. But now that it's after Starfield, weirdly enough.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Doom Year Zero, it was a new Doom game, and there was other, games like new IPs and stuff.
Sure.
But it didn't really, that didn't shock me in any way. I was like, yeah, of course, roadmap. The stuff that shocked me, which has shocked a few other people, one, something not super shocking, even though I just said it, is that, Microsoft said they wanted to buy Nintendo. They tried to do that a long time ago.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it.
Which is ludicrous, dude. They're never going to buy Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
But some of these statements I just thought I wrote down because this is kind of the whole overarching feeling that I felt from this leak, which is the kind of the gall that Microsoft has to just try to buy up everything. And especially Phil Spencer, who's always paints himself as the nice guy. And I'm not saying he isn't. And he definitely has done a lot of positive things. But some of these statements are just weird. Xbox called the Nintendo the prime asset for us in gaming. The prime asset? What is he, an espionage? And also, that's just weird.
Also, they're not your fucking asset, dude.
They're not your asset.
Yes.
And it's disrespectful to Nintendo. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Nintendo's all about respect. It's crazy. And then here's the other one. Yeah, there it is. Getting Nintendo would be a career moment and a good move for both companies. A career moment? Thinking about his own career?
Yeah. And it would not be a good move. Are you kidding me? Why
would
why in the
not.
world be a good move for Nintendo? They do shit their own way, and they live on a literal mountain of cash, dude. They've got billions in cash. They're doing just fine. I don't think they need Microsoft for fuck all anything.
No. Some other statement was something like, I want Nintendo to understand that the future of their company is off their own hardware. And I was like, that's also weird because don't you not want hardware, Microsoft?
That's very presumptuous of them to say.
It is, but they're Microsoft's promoting the cloud and the idea of you don't even need a console. So the whole thing just rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know. What do you think on that?
I just very lightly touched on it, but I think I kind of agree in that. So I guess two things. Number one, obviously some of this is dated, so maybe things have changed since then. And like we just said, things change every 6 months, whatever, fine. But the whole approach of this thing really kind of shows kind of a weird diluted sense about Microsoft. I like the Xbox just fine. It's my primary ecosystem right now, so I'm definitely on the Xbox camp. But them to kind of approach it in this big business monopoly way, the same way that they approach their computer business, is really ill-fated and ill-conceived. And to think that we're going to do all this stuff when they don't even have their house in order, right? There's a lot of stuff within Microsoft already that needs to be fixed, that needs to be taken care of. And for them to think we're just going to keep buying the stuff and approaching this this amoeba cancerous growth over the industry when you can't even run your shit properly.
That's true.
Is just man, you get yourself square first. And once you start popping on all cylinders, then maybe we can talk. But even so, I wouldn't want a monopoly because monopolies just bring bad things for everybody, right?
Yeah, it's bad for business.
And again, what are you smoking that you think Nintendo's going to give you the fucking time of day to buy them out? Are you fucking kidding?
Yeah.
Are you literally kidding? It's insane.
Well, it wasn't just Nintendo. It was Warner Brothers, and there was other companies mentioned in that. But again, like you said, it's get your house in order before you start buying up all these companies.
Yeah.
You can't even look at what's it called? What's the Redfall? And just look at, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean the Fable stuff, the Redfall stuff, debatably the Starfield stuff. I
think Halo being gone.
Yeah, I mean everything they've bought, and ever since they've been kind of trying to reorganize their studios, has been kind of a disaster, dude. They haven't really come through with any strong studios. They keep moving people around and taking studios down and reassigning people, and it's just their corporate side is fucking up the game side, and those two things are not getting along well. So for them to say we're gonna have this plan, we're gonna take over, is dude, will you please take care of your own house first, please?
It leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
And the other thing that just to finish that up is some document somewhere showed them talking about buying shares to influence board of directors, and that felt like that same thing. What are you doing? And then the last thing I'll say about that is that said, this is the quote earlier I was going to read, is I can fairly safely say that if we do not make more progress than this off of the console, we would be exiting the gaming business, which was talking about Game Pass and how they wanted to get a certain number of subscribers or whatever.
Sure.
I just thought it was interesting. We're going to leave the gaming business.
I mean, they've been saying that for a while, though. I know that they initially looked at this Xbox thing in general as kind of a side larf. But I think it's, I mean, again, that kind of shows their idiocy, right? Because it's a solid thing. It's a moneymaker if you run it properly. If you manage the games and studios and got in touch with what gamers actually wanted, that would be great. But instead, you're talking about like this takeover stuff. I mean, and I think Game Pass is great. I think it's something that can really leverage more than they have been. Me sitting on the couch being the the armchair quarterback or whatever. But I think most people would agree that Microsoft has been stumble fucking a lot of things, and I don't know, whatever. If they want to get out of the business, get out of the business. That's fine. There's other people in the business, but
yeah,
it just seems like the people who are talking are maybe not the people who should be talking.
Yeah. Anyways, that's it. I mean, there's more stuff that came out, but who cares? I just thought the whole feel just felt weird to me. And again, I want competition too. I don't want just Sony to win, and I don't believe in this console war bullshit either.
Yeah.
But I just want them to do better, I guess. And also, I want Fable. Now that you mentioned it, I actually want that.
I don't want that. Anything else? What else you got?
Okay, smaller news, smaller boxes. One, Dragon's Dogma 2 is shown off.
Yeah.
Video preview. Did you watch it?
Did not watch it, but I don't have to watch it because I'm in.
You're in.
I'm in.
I'm in, except one thing. So I watched a video preview. I think it's IGN or something. Forgive me if it's GameSpot. I don't remember. But it's up there. People got to play it for like an hour or so, and the pawns are back. It's essentially Dragon's Dogma. So
which is totally fine with me.
Which is totally fine with me too. You jump on enemies. It's a kind of got a Monster Hunter vibe. When there's big enemies, you can jump on them and attack them.
Monster Hunter plus Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah,
which is a good combo.
And then the pawn system's back, which is almost identical. It looks like, which essentially is you have these AI companions, and they can do stuff for you, and also you can send them off into the internet so they can be on other people's games, which is weird.
Yeah. And if you've never played Dragon's Dogma, it's more than just AI companion. It's too long to get into now, but it's like a dope ass system that nobody has copied since then, and I'm glad to see it come back.
That's true. No one's copied it. And this one, though, it seemed like their companions, their pawns, were like leading them to different areas on the map. I don't know if my mind did that in the first game.
No, they would tell you about a place when you got there, but I don't think they would lead you
I don't
there.
think
but
they
when
did
you got
either.
to a place, they gave you hints, but I think you had to get there on your own, I believe.
Okay, and two, they were like, the reviewer was watching the pawns run around, and they were like, come over here. And they like brought them into a dungeon, and I thought that was super cool.
Okay, that's dope. I'm down.
The only con, and I guess I didn't remember this, is what is my middle name when it comes to action RPGs?
Dodge roll.
Yeah. What does Dragon's Dogma 2 not have?
None. No dodge roll?
It says the only dodging you get is by your vocation. So the new system is if you're a thief, you have a certain vocation move. And if you're a fighter, you have a vocation move. And so there's no overall dodge roll.
Interesting.
I don't. That scares me. And
well,
it means
you
I have
usually
to be
play
a
like a
thief.
melee barbarian anyway, so I'm guessing those guys would probably have it. I
No,
don't know.
No. My point is, I listened, and the guy who reviewed it said that the fighter didn't have one.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe there's some other class. I'll reserve judgment because Dragon's Dogma is like one of those really cutting edge experimental cult classics, and I feel like there was a lot of material there that the game industry missed out on because it never got a sequel, it never got developed. So I'm here. I'm with open arms. My pre-order's in. They can have my money. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm ready to take it on. So I'll just see what happens.
I'm into. You know what I mean? Like I'm in. That was a weird side note. I was like, am I going to play a thief? Because I have a sidestep now.
Maybe it'll make sense when you play it. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows?
We're in though, and I'm excited.
I'm in for sure.
And I have no idea when it's coming out. By the way, I don't. Is it this year? I don't know.
No idea. Probably not this year.
And lastly, but not leastly, lastly and leastly. Has anyone ever said that?
You just did.
I just noticed before this podcast started that Tomb Raider 1 through 3 is being remastered and it's out soon.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I saw that, yeah.
I might pick it up. What's wrong with me?
I am very excited for this to come out.
Really? Because I really love those old games.
Well, yes, but not for the reason you think.
Oh, okay. What is it?
I am very excited for this to come out because people who are Tomb Raider fans today, most people, unless you're old like we are, you have no fucking idea how hard those old games were and how open worldy 3D puzzly difficult they were.
Mm-hmm.
People are used to the modern Lara Croft where a lot of it's on rails, a lot of it's automated, it's pretty flashy, maybe a little bit more story focused than in the past. But if you go back to those old games, dude, those are a whole different fucking beast. Where Lara Croft is in the middle of a tomb, figure it out, bitch.
Right.
And then you're just walking around like, here's a switch 1 mile away from this other switch. Are these connected? I don't know. Do I need to climb in this cave? I don't know. Where is you like they're so crazy. I finished them all. I played them all and finished them all, and I have affection for them as a product of their time. But boy, if they haven't changed the gameplay and they just did the graphics, I bet a lot of people are in for a pretty rude awakening.
It's almost like I don't know which one I want more, because I kind of would like him to be difficult and just show people, like you said, like this is what the game started as.
Yeah.
But you can see better. The other thing you didn't say is that, the polygon style, really pixelated polygons.
The super pointy polygons.
Were hard to see. And so not only were we lost, but it was hard to see where we were going.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure. It's rough. They were rough. They looked
were
rough. Yeah, for sure.
So I think that's why they did it. But I looked at some of the screenshots and I was like, yeah, I can see everything that's happening. So
Which
maybe
is nice.
they'd be easier,
Seeing things in a video game is definitely a plus in my book.
Yeah. Tomb Raider Remastered. I'm going to pick it up. It's like $20. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
go
getting
for it. Go for it.
That's all I have. What's your side of the room?
Okay, so let's see real quickly. Resident Evil 4, which I haven't gotten to yet. I need to get to it. Did you play Resident Evil 4, the remake, this year?
Did I?
I don't think you probably did. You're not usually a Resident Evil guy, are you? You're
I'm not, but I think I did try the remake. Yeah, I tried it for a second. There was a demo, I think.
Yeah, there might have been a demo.
It was done well.
I will get to it. It's weird because I was just talking to some folks and people are like, how come no one's talking about Resident Evil 4 as best of the year? And it's like, well, there's been a lot of really good games this year. And also Resident Evil 4 was already a pretty dope game. So just kind of putting a little more polish on it, I don't think has captured people's imagination the way that some of the other recent Capcom remakes have, that have been like more of a drastic remake,
Yeah.
So, I mean, whatever. Still a great game. I still got to play it. I think I bought it, but I just haven't even touched it. But the reason I bring this up is the much awaited DLC is now available separate ways, starring everyone's favorite super spy, Ada Wong. So she's back in the game. There's some mercenary stuff that's in there. I forget what else is in, but everybody who was like, where's Ada? Well, here she is. They just needed to get a couple more bucks from you, and she has made her appearance. So if you want some Ada Wong in your Resident Evil, and I don't know anybody who doesn't, myself included, then you can pick that up and check that out.
Oh, wait, hold on. More direct. I forgot to say that more directs happen, and we're not going to talk about them, but 505 Games, Tokyo Game Show, like tons of stuff happened.
Yeah, like it's too much, dude.
It's too much, so we're not going through it.
Yeah, whatever.
It happened.
Stuff happened. Look it up if you want.
Look it up.
We talked last week about a couple of games having trouble and studios having trouble as well, and that's kind of going this week as well. Evil Dead, the asymmetrical multiplayer online game. Did you play Evil Dead, the new one? I didn't play it.
I love Evil Dead to death, the actual movies. But
yeah,
no.
Same. Big Sam Raimi fan. Big fan of Bruce Campbell. Evil Dead, the whole thing, movies. But this was like one of those kind of a Dead by Daylight sort of a
totally
online, kind of a thing. They just announced that they are no longer creating any more content and will not be supporting it anymore. So that's effectively dead. They said on the plus side, servers will still be up for now. But this is the writing is on the wall, dude. Like this wasn't, it wasn't going anywhere. They're not making any money off it, so they're shutting it down. So if you want to play it, you better get in now because it's going to be going away soon. And it kind of just goes back to, I guess, the whole feeling for me of like, you can't just, some of these games are really tough to catch on, and I think you're kind of crazy to want to get in on that market. Like Dead by Daylight was kind of a very unique case. Some of these other games that are kind of like these very particular online experiences, like a Fortnite. Everybody wants to be the new Fortnite. Everybody wants to be the new Dead by Daylight when you're looking at horror. Like everybody, once those leaders are established, I feel like, man, you've got a huge task ahead of you. You're better off doing your own thing, right?
Yeah.
And I know that, and I'm sure that everybody's like, well, this isn't exactly like that. Okay, sure, it's not exactly like that, but like it's close enough to where people who are playing Dead by Daylight are probably not playing Evil Dead because it's too close in the same bucket, right?
Yeah, and again, just make something that's unique and even take a piece of it. When I looked up asymmetrical game, because I keep hearing that and I know what they mean, it just basically means there are two teams of players and they experience the game differently. because they have different mechanics.
Yeah.
That's the asymmetrical part.
Exactly.
And a lot of times it's horror because it's easy to be like, there's a big monster or dinosaur.
Monster, killer, whatever, Jason from Friday the 13th or something like that.
Right. And that's why Dead by Daylight keeps doing well because they already had the formula. They were the first, too, one of the first. And then they like just put on new skins.
Yeah.
Because it's all the same game. But if you're like starting a whole new game, just take an idea of that and then make a new game. You know, don't copy it in that way, I don't think.
I mean, you're exactly right, dude. This is kind of the Monster Hunter dilemma, right? Where what I mean by that is somebody comes up with a new formula, they pioneer it, and then they make a bunch of content for it. And then anybody else coming to want to step to that is like, you can't match the amount of content that the leader already has. And as long as the leader's not fucking up, like as long as they don't nuke their own game in the way that Unity nuked their own business, they're going to stay ahead because it's like there's no way you can catch up, right? So like every Monster Hunter like that wants to be like Monster Hunter, it's like, okay, unless you've got a very interesting spin, Monster Hunter has like 20 years of content up on you. You're not going to come up with 20 years of like history and tradition and content that's going to pull people away, right? And same thing with Dead by Daylight. They've got so many skins. They've got so much marketing. They've got like the girl from The Ring, and they've got like all the major killers. They've got their own little killers that they did in-house. They've got guest stars. I think they did some of that, like, what's that show you like? The, oh my God, Stranger Things. They've got the Stranger Things stuff. Yep. Like once you start getting that momentum, it's almost impossible to pull people away from that. And so you need something different. Like you need an idea, a mechanic that's different enough, not just Dead by Daylight in a different skin and people are going to randomly play your other game. Like it doesn't make any sense. So I feel bad for folks that feel like they're going to chase that. But I don't know. Here you go.
Well, don't feel bad. Just like we just said, listen to our advice, which is just take a piece of that. Like, so it's instead of 2 teams, have it be 4 teams and each one experience something different. Okay. That's already a way to change it. Or don't make it horror, make it like a really interesting adventure game, you know, where it's like, there's a story and it's a campaign. Because so many, by the way, this is really the issue. So many of these asymmetrical games, there's no actual oomph to it, right? It's just go to a map and then kill. Like
exactly.
That's it,
like
right?
Where's the progression? What's the hook for keeping you playing?
Hook?
Like what's the motivation, right?
Remember what the game that you love so much with the tower? With the tower. Let It Die.
Let It Die. Oh,
right?
Yeah, Let It Die.
There's
yes,
the progression there or whatever. There's some sort of feeling of like you're doing better. I don't know. There's something.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, in Let It Die's example, I mean, there was an endpoint. Like you could roll credits. Like there was a improving your character. You had places to go, new bosses, and then there was also the multiplayer aspect. But like there was a reason, there was a hook to keep you coming back, right? Which is interesting because Let It Die's sequel, Deathverse, went nowhere. I think they've already shuttered it because they again went down the multiplayer route. But where was the hook? They got rid of the hooks that they had.
No.
And they fucking tanked themselves, dude.
We talked about it. I got it, and I played it for a while because I did like the style of it.
Visual style. You know, yeah, it's great. Yeah.
But yeah, there was nothing to hook me. So
yeah.
Anyway, there you go. Advice.
All right. Something really interesting, kind of games adjacent, but perhaps relevant later. Are you familiar with the comic book Fables, Carlos?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Totally.
Okay, so Fables. From writer Bill Willingham is pretty well known. It was originally a DC Vertigo comic, I believe, and it was about what if fairy tales were real people. Like they start off in some alternate dimension. I think they eventually came to Earth or something. I read it for a long time. I didn't like keep going with it, but I read like 10 or 11 of the graphic novels. I mean, me and my wife both really enjoyed it quite a bit. Anyway, the reason I bring this up is because Bill Willingham, the creator, was smart when he did dealings with DC, and he kept a lot of creative control. And what happened recently, they announced this just last week, was he got tired of getting fucked over by DC. He said he just got dicked over, where they were not listening to his creative control. They were not paying him what he was due. They were cheating him out of his royalties, etc., etc. And he's like, I'm fucking sick of this. I've had enough. Apparently he tried to work it out with them over a series of like years, and they just weren't having it. They just kept trying to snake him, and he got tired of it. So rather than exhaust his money getting lawyers and going to court, he flipped DC the Bird by turning Fables into the public domain.
Oh, I didn't know he did that. Wow.
He just did it last week. So you can't do anything with old Fable shit. Like all the stuff that DC has, DC still owns. But you can do whatever the fuck you want from now forward. So you can do fanfic, you can do games, you can do movies, you can do music, you can do books, you can do whatever the fuck you want with Fables because he gave it to the world. He put it in public domain as a way of saying, fuck you, DC, I'm sick of your shit. So that's kind of incredible. because Fables is a big deal, and it's not very often that we hear of a living creator, because he's still alive, he's not dead, giving their work, their life's work, to the public domain. Usually, like we just had Winnie the Pooh, after 100 years, went into the public domain. And Shakespeare has been in the public domain. He's been dead for 600 years or whatever the fuck it is. But it's very rare we have a living person. So the reason I bring this up, why is this important? Number one, that's just amazing he did that. Mm-hmm. But number two, the reason I bring this up is because I think there may be a parallel in video games with this. So if there's a creator out there whose game is on a particular platform and that platform goes away, or maybe there's some game that has been out of print for a long time that the fans want, but the publisher, holds rights from 20 years ago and they don't want to let the rights go. Or if there's something like this that's kind of preventing a popular IP or a popular game from going back, I have to wonder, rather than having those rights tied up for infinity and people just never seeing someone's work, what if game developers, after a certain period of time, turn their games over to the public domain? Maybe that would be a good way to kind of support the archival research that we do, like the preservation, the historical aspects. So let's say there's some NES game, who knows, whatever, NES game X, and Nintendo's not going to put it on their eShop. They don't want to sell it, but they don't want to let anybody else do it either. And of course, you'd have to think about this ahead of time, right? You'd have to make sure that you had your rights in place so that you could do it. But what if game X was like, oh, okay, well, Nintendo doesn't want to publish our game and we're not making any money off it. Fuck it. Public domain, and anybody who loved our game from back in the day can do something with it, or use the characters, or keep it alive somehow, or at very least, somehow preserve it. So I don't know if this is a thing. It's just a wild idea I had, but to see someone like Bill Willingham, who's really well respected, turn his globally respected property into the public domain, because he loves the property and also hates DC, which I get. I don't know. I think maybe there's something there for games. What do you think, Carlos?
Yeah, I think there is. I think it's just unfortunate it'd be too piecemeal to pull off anything of scope. You know what I mean? How many developers are working with publishers? How many of those publishers are going to let that happen? They'd be like, no, we don't even want to publish your game then, because if you want to own rights later, no, thank you. The problem is the bigger publishers. That's the issue. So for smaller games and Steam games, they could probably do it right away. Be like, hey, after 10 years or whatever, you can have this game to archive it. But I think it just comes down to being tricky when they get distributed and stuff.
Oh yeah.
By the way, DC stands for Detective Comics. So technically, that's Detective Comics Comics.
There you go.
When you say DC, so fuck you guys. That's dumb. You got a dumb name.
It's like the RE engine from Capcom. People thought it was the Resident Evil engine, but no, it's the Resident Evil engine is what it's actually called. So, which
by the way, what is it? The Grande. What's the coffee one from Spider-Man?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh my, come on. The when you call it
the chai, you're talking about the chai. Chai means tea, so you're saying TT or whatever.
TT, yeah.
Yes, the Indian Spider-Man.
Yeah,
it was cool. Anyway, I know there's probably a billion problems with that happening, but I just wanted to float the concept out there.
I like the concept a lot. I'm not
maybe that'll spark something with people. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
I got one more thing. You got anything else, Carlos?
Do I? I feel like I did.
I thought maybe you did. It seemed like you might have had something there.
I'm looking. I don't think I do. I think we're good.
All right, no problem. So my last thing is I wanted to circle back to the Cosmic Wheel Sisterhood and give it an official So Video Game score. I just finished it maybe last week, but I didn't have time to talk about it earlier. Cosmic Wheel Sisterhood, coming from Deconstruct Team and published by Devolver. I've talked about it at least once or twice on the show before, so I'm not going to go into all the details, but I did finally wrap it, and I have to say it's definitely one of my favorite visual novels of the year. If you missed those previous episodes, it's about a woman who is a witch, and she is exiled to a meteorite or asteroid that's a million miles in space. She's in the middle of nowhere in space, and she's an immortal, and she's trapped there, and she wants to get off the rock, and so she summons a Cthulhu-type dude to show up to give her some extra power and help her get off the rock. And from there, I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but basically it turns out to be kind of a semi-tarot card, semi-future-telling, semi-story about empowerment, about girl power, about, doing things your own way. It was just kind of a really cool story. Very interesting. Very female forward, very queer friendly. And I thought the art was fantastic. I thought the storyline was really interesting. I was very curious to see how this was going to turn out. I believe there are multiple endings too, depending on who you befriend and which decisions you make along the way. And I just thought everything about it was really great. The tarot card stuff was really well done as well. Just to circle back for a second, these are from the same people who made Red Strings Club, which we talked about a couple episodes. Remember that, Carlos? And I think that this is a great move forward for deconstructing. They also made, I think it's called The Gods Will Be Watching. The Gods Will Be Watching. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So I think that Deconstruct Team is a studio who has a lot of really awesome ideas, but I think that they have my personal opinion, they have struggled to bring fun gameplay to match their fun ideas. So Gods Will Be Watching, we reviewed that, and I remember it was really hot or cold. Like, I think people liked the idea but hated the gameplay. We talked about Red Strings Club, where we thought it was awesome but hated the gameplay.
I didn't say hated.
Not hated,
personally.
but it was not
confusing.
fun enough.
It was a little tricky.
Confusing, tricky. We did not get along with the gameplay enough to want to engage in the good ideas that we felt were there. But this is the first time, I think, where the gameplay matches the idea. It was, visual novel storytelling. They had an aspect where you create your own tarot cards, but it was quick, it was easy, and it was actually fun. Because you could just put something together and make your own deck, and that was really neat to go back and look at those. I feel like the choices happened really well. I feel like everything was laid out really clearly. It was just really, really, really well done. Looked great, great story, cool concept. I had a wonderful time all the way through. So I wanted just to circle back and put an official number on this one.
All right, drum roll.
So for me and the So Videogames podcast, the Cosmic Wheel Sisterhood gets a solid, super solid 8.5. Very respectable. Ooh. One of my favorite visual novels of the year, for sure.
Nice.
And if you like this show, I bet you will probably like this game.
And a good turnaround for, like you said, the studio.
For Deconstruct Team, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I feel like also, not to toot our own horn or pat ourselves on the back, although I guess I will. It just goes to show, like, we're really about wanting to support people and do good things. And if we find something that's not great, we will come back and play their next game. Like, we don't hold grudges or anything. I mean, we always want people to succeed, and I'm really glad that this one is a banger because, they clearly had some talent there, and we just we're telling it like it is. We told it like it is in the older games. We didn't like those. This one, I think, is great. I love it. So congratulations, Deconstruct Team.
Congratulations, 8.5. And
8.5.
Check it out. Also, to your point, there's no grudges and there's no console wars and there's none of that stuff on the show. It's just like, if it's interesting or fun to us, and if it isn't, then we'll say that too.
Yeah, for sure.
That's it.
All right. That is it for the housekeeping. We're going to get on. Sorry, reading my script. Getting on with the main portion of the show here. I was going to throw it to you, but I think it makes more sense if you're okay with it that I keep going, because that way we will go back and forth in the way that we like to do. Are you okay if I start off, Carlos?
I don't know. Now
I know. It's kind of weird.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't care. But also, I have one note on your on one of the games you're going to talk about. So I'm excited to counterpoint one of your reviews. So what do you want to start with then?
Let me start with Days of Doom. This is coming.
I don't know what that is. Okay.
This is coming from, I believe it's putting out by Atari. I think they're publishing. They're not the developers. Days of Doom is a 2D grid-based tactical roguelike, so you can already know why I'm interested in this one.
I'm out.
Carlos is out.
I'm out.
Post-apocalyptic. Story's not a lot there. It's basically just like apocalypse happens. You got to survive. Cool. I mean, whatever. But that's fine. You don't really need a good story in a game like this. This is all about kind of like the structure. I really like the artwork. The artwork is what caught my eye immediately. Kind of vaguely sort of reminded me of Darkest Dungeon a little bit. I'm one of the biggest Darkest Dungeon fans, and anything that's kind of in that wheelhouse is of interest to me. That's something that I feel like there's a lot of potential there that people haven't really tapped. A lot of people have tried, but it's really hard to follow in those giant footsteps. But Days of Doom, you start off the game with a couple survivors. I think I had like a guy who's just got like a baseball bat, big bruiser guy. There's a girl who can somehow, she's like an aquamancer where she does like water magic. And then there's a person who is like, I want to say she's like a tarot card user, kind of more of a defensive kind of person. Each person has like 2 skills, which is not very many. And you start off on this grid-based battlefield. You're on the left side, enemies on the right side. You start off with like regular zombies, like mutant radioactive zombies, kind of Fallout style. But then there's also like lizard people. There's like the Mad Max Raider types. There might be 1 or 2 more, I forget. But basically, you just kind of, they move, you take an action, they take an action, combat resolves. I liked the graphics. I thought it was really cool. I like the style and the vibe, but I feel like this one falls pretty short of the goal. Basically, it's pretty shallow. It's pretty shallow in that each character did not feel they had much depth to them. I felt like I was doing the same attacks over and over and over, which I really was, because you've only got basically a basic attack and a power attack, or you can block. And that's really all you've got. There are some roguelike things you can pick up, one-time use items or something, but those were completely not an issue, and I don't really count on those things anyway, because you don't know when you're going to get them, and you don't know which ones you're going to get. Some of them are bad, some are good, so I didn't really pay much attention to that. It wasn't really advantageous. But basically it's just you turn by turn, attack. This thing really goes wrong, I think, at its core. One thing that I want to talk about, if I can just take a step back for a second here, people don't understand roguelikes. I feel like very few people understand what makes a roguelike good. And I think something that's happened since Darkest Dungeon, now I do not blame Darkest Dungeon for this, because they don't really do it in the same way that other people do, but I think people misunderstand what Darkest Dungeon was doing. So have you played Darkest Dungeon, Carlos?
Yes. And also, when you say people, you mean developers, I'm guessing.
Other developers misunderstand what Red Hook was doing. Okay, so in Darkest Dungeon, you have a town. There's a hotel, a bar, doctor's office, whatever, carriage house. And all of these things can be leveled up. Each one has a different effect on your characters. Each one has a different effect on gameplay. And that's your largest progression. Even though you may lose individual characters, your town progresses. And then as the town progresses, things get better. You get better classes of characters, you get more weapons, you get more powers, etc., etc. That's great. I love that progression. Days of Doom tries to do that exact same thing, but they absolutely misunderstand how that worked. So the point of Days of Doom, you have the same characters and you're supposed to progress your town, but there's no fun to the gameplay. There is no nuance to the combat. If you look at Darkest Dungeon, each character, there was 8 or 10 characters or something, and there's probably even more since then that they've added. Each one had multiple powers. You got to choose, I think, maybe 4 powers, but everybody had 16 total or something. So even if you had 2 of the same character, they could be wildly different. You had a jester. One could be really focused on attack in the back row. One could be really a healer. Same character, but totally different function. And the minute-to-minute gameplay of Darkest Dungeon was what kept it exciting. You liked going on those runs because you could see how the characters interacted with each other. Not even to mention where you put them in the line actually changed what their powers were.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of nuance to Darkest Dungeon. There is none of that nuance here in Days of Doom. The characters, it doesn't really matter where you put them. They might get a 10% bonus if somebody's standing next to somebody, but that's as far as it goes. It doesn't change their powers. It doesn't change how you control them. And because there's nothing really complicated about their combat, you just end up doing the same combat over and over. And what the game boils down to is you're grinding for resources in order to build up your town, in order to finally get some variety in your gameplay.
So it makes a different type of game by just what you just described.
Yeah, it's they're trying to do Darkest Dungeon, but they just do not understand why Darkest Dungeon was good. They just don't. And it's not about grinding. It's about having the interesting combat, interesting character choices, interesting interplay of different elements. This is really, really straightforward and simple, and they just want you to grind and grind. Yeah. I played, I want to say at least 2 hours of it. And in 2 hours of basically playing what felt like the same battle over and over and over, I no appreciable progress. It was one of those plus 5% stat increases or something. I didn't add more people to my team. I think ultimately in the 2 hours, I think I had 4 character types total, which is totally not nearly enough when they've only got 2 powers. You hit repetition almost right off the bat, and I just did not want to sit there and grind to do anything different. It should be variety first, and then the progression supporting that. So they just really did not understand how that worked and what makes a good roguelike and what specifically makes Darkest Dungeon work. Too much of a slow grind, and they really overestimated how many times people would want to play that same battle. If I did 1 or 2 battles and then I got a good upgrade, got a new character, okay, that's fine, that's good, keep me moving forward. But it was glacial progress, dude. I just felt like I was doing the same run 1,000 times. So although I like the graphics, I like the concept, I think there's room in this genre for people to kind of do something that that is kind of a spin-off of Darkest Dungeon. This was unfortunately not it.
Yeah, it sucks. Like you said, we still want people to try because that formula is cool. If you change on it, innovate enough. When you were talking about it, it made me think of that thing we mentioned a couple episodes ago where back in the day there used to be old school PlayStation games like at the checkout.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like always like
tennis.
Yeah,
racing.
just tennis, racing. And this sounded like strategy or like strategy roguelike, the game.
Yes. I mean, that's kind of, yes, exactly, dude. You're exactly right.
So that's what this is.
Yeah, unfortunate. It seems like there's some potential there, but you did not nail it, my friends. So, okay.
Moving on.
We are talking now about a game that is currently under embargo, but will not be under embargo by the time you're hearing this podcast. Mineko's Night Market. This is a pretty welcome and pretty anticipated title for people who are following the indie scene. I've been hearing about it for, I feel like at least a year, if not longer than a year, and people are really waiting for it and can't wait to see it. It's finally here. You played it. We got you a code. Thanks to the publishers for that.
Thank you for that.
I don't really know a lot about it, though. You want to kind of fill us in?
Yeah, I've when you say a year, it's been years since I'm waiting for this game.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, that was just me. I mean, maybe other people.
I've been literally. It's been wishlisted, I think, on my Steam account for 3 years or something at least.
Oh wow. Okay, even longer than I thought. All right.
And I think I backed it as a Kickstarter. I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like I did, which means it's weird because I have the code now and I'm playing it. But whatever. I guess maybe I got 2 copies. I don't know. So what is the game and why am I so excited about it? Well. It's funny. I want to look up when Night in the Woods came out, but it has Night in the Woods vibes totally.
Like the graphics,
as well as the story and the way, as well as the dialogue and that kind of like you're just in a cool cutesy type of world with like interesting weird characters who kind of talk, with slang and their own kind of comedy in their voice. There's a vibe to that. I can only just say Night in the Woods, and if people get that, if they play that game, they'll get it.
If you know, you know.
You know. So I always had that kind of like feel to it, just in screenshots and trailers and stuff. But the game is a gameplay is totally kind of different. The art style is also like, when Night in the Woods is 2D kind of platformy. This one's more like looking down. What is it called? Isometric view.
Yeah.
With like cutout characters, so you can run all around the map. Kind of like Zelda style, but you're 2D cutout character. That's the art. And it's awesome. I mean, look at the screenshots of it. You'll see it's like so cool looking to me personally. So yeah, you play as Mineko, and she gets brought to a little town. They move in. She moves in with her dad, and this place. I don't know what the place is called. I forgot, but it's like there's tons of cats. And by the way, another reason why I backed it.
Oh, so that's what this is about. This is about cats.
There's a lot of cats in this.
All right.
But the town has a lot of cats in it. This little village and stuff. But there's like this story that you learn about in the very beginning of like this ancient lore of like this magical cat that showed up one time and like blessed the crops. And so that's in the background of your mind that this might, this land might have this kind of mysticalness to it. But then there's actual just like tons of cats around, which are all adorable. And then there's these agents that show up, and this is in the very beginning of the game, and that they have suits and stuff like that, like Men in Black style. And they're all around like looking at some suspicious stuff that's going on. And they're trying to like block off areas of the island. So, and also they captured cats. What the fuck's wrong with them? They captured all these cats. They're like assholes.
Were they feral cats?
Well, they are the cats that live in the town. And then they captured a bunch of them. I think, and this is just speculation, so there's no spoiler, but it's obviously tied to this mystical cat thing, right? So they're probably like, they figured it out. It's like X-Files. It totally feels like X-Files meets Cats meets Night in the Woods. There's the box boat. There it is.
I mean, those are 3 pretty good things.
Yes. And here's the 4th thing. So that's the whole setup, okay? And you're there and you're walking around and it's cute and you meet characters and you meet this little kid named Bobo and he's like, your companion. And you select things to look at them and interact with them. You have a run button, which is so thankful for that. And at this kind of game where you're running everywhere. And you have a sneak button as well because there's some of that kind of like, stealth stuff. And it is that thing where certain missions are like, if you get seen, it's over, But you get like 3 tries, so it's worth it. And here's the other piece. It's called Mineko's Night Market. So there's a night market that takes place every Saturday, and you get to set up your own little stall and sell shit.
Oh,
And
okay.
I don't think that's for you at all, but for other people listening.
What do you sell?
So you craft things. So you find things on the island, find a ton of plants to make this plant thing or whatever, flowers to make this other thing. And then whatever you find, too, just random shit. There's like magazines and weird stuff all around. All the art looks awesome. You know, you can kind of craft things or get things and then just sell them at the market. So there's this like other element, which is, remember that dungeon game?
Yeah, Moonlighter.
Moonlighter. See, we're so good, or you're so good. That was good callback. Moonlighter. It has that vibe, right? So Moonlighter mixed with Night in the Woods, mixed with X-Files, and a ton of cats. Like if you love cats, you know you'll really enjoy this, and you can pet the cats.
Nice.
And sounds like a fever dream of a review. Sorry, I'll slow down. The point is, I love it, and it's just what I wanted, which is great when a game does that. When it shows you, you know, teasers. And it's just relaxing as fuck. Like I'm playing CYBERPUNK, I'm playing a bunch of those other games that are really intense, and then I just come over to Mineko's Night Market and go, I found some new flowers. I can craft that thing, and I'll pet this cat, and I'll go over here, and secret moment where I have to be stealthy and, you know, get around these guards, and then go back to relaxing again. So it's got a really interesting mix of like, there's this story, like we were saying earlier, kind of like there's a finality to this, you know. There is something to figure out.
There's an end point, something to work towards.
Yeah, there's a magical cat probably, and these X-Files people are guarding it. And then there's like going back and relaxing and actually, you know, doing better and getting money and going to your house and hanging out in your place. I love it. It's so relaxing. I don't think it's a game for people who follow Brad and Brad's opinions and ideas. But for
I like
me,
to relax sometimes. Maybe.
You do like to relax on Switch games, I know. But I don't think
Sometimes.
this kind of relaxing is
Maybe
probably,
not.
Yeah,
We'll see.
But I
It
love
looks
it.
real cute, though. Looks real cute.
Oh yeah, the art's awesome. I mean, talk about spending time, how many years they worked on it, because like everything's perfect. Like there's no bugs to be seen. It's like just a relaxing, good, solid experience.
Excellent. Sounds like a real win. Where are you playing it on?
On
PC?
Steam,
PC.
Like, we have the controller though. Yeah,
Okay, and I believe it's also on Switch. I think it's PC and Switch for this one.
it would be really good on Switch. I would also like to see it on a big screen on TV as well, though. But man, it works so well. I love it. It's relaxing. I play it almost every night.
Excellent. Sounds like a win.
It is.
All right, Mineko's Night Market. Win.
Check it out.
All right, let me talk for a second about a game I have been kind of excited for quite a while. It's called Gloomhaven. Have you heard of Gloomhaven, Carlos?
It's been on my potential wish list, so I'm interested in you.
No, take it off. No, don't
take it
play
off
this.
mine. Yeah,
no, take it off.
I thought so. It's got the strategy elements, right? It's
Yeah.
like a turn-basey thing.
So here's
what I should do. I should, and I've done it before.
Go ahead.
I should tell you what the game is before, and I have not played the game.
All right, tell me, what do you think this game
Here's
is?
my improv number 2 for the podcast, and then I won't do it next time.
That's fine.
So Gloomhaven. All right. So what is Gloomhaven? It's a fantasy turn-based adventure game where you level up, and it's got roguelike elements, and there's cartoony type characters.
No.
Okay, I'm totally wrong.
Good try, and I do like the voice, but no. All right, so what is Gloomhaven? So Gloomhaven is kind of a strange one. You may not know, but this was kickstarted as a board game many years ago. It was a monster success, like huge success. I believe, did I kickstart it? I think I may have even kickstarted it. The box for Gloomhaven is what it's really known for, because it is large when it comes to board games. I don't know if it's the largest, but it weighs probably 40 pounds of stuff.
Whoa.
It's a giant box. You could fit a small child inside the box for Gloomhaven. It's kind of a joke how big it is and how much stuff is in the box. And so it became really well known as like the big box game. So I bought it, kickstarted it, got the thing. Me and the wife, we love board games, but we hate playing them, which sounds funny. But it's like, if someone is there to run the game for us, like we're all in, like, hell yes, we're going to play this. But if we have to run it ourselves, we're kind of like, this is a lot of rules to remember, and this is a lot of pieces. And it's stupid because I buy board games all the time and I never play them, or I play them one time and I'm like, oh man, I love the art on this box. It's so awesome. I wish I could play this, but I need someone to run it for me.
Dude, let's just talk about that for 2 seconds. Yeah. And friend of the show, Dan Shu, runs Going Analog. So if you like tabletop games and board games, check out Going Analog. He's the one who got me into them when I was in SF. And once I lived near a store that sold them, and the new ones, like you said, with new art, I was buying a fuck ton of those
Yeah.
because it's like collectibles or something. You just feel like it's addictive.
Yeah.
So I know that vibe, that feel. But then, yeah, like running them, oh, geez.
Yeah, they look so cool.
complicated.
The boxes are so cool looking. You open them up. There's all these cool little, like, sometimes you get miniatures, which will look neat. Sometimes you get cool little cards, little art and stuff. You open up the board. You're like, oh, this looks amazing. Like, it looks so cool. But, like, this is like a topic for another podcast. But, like, in the way that there is video game literacy for us, which we don't even think twice about now. We, like, eat, breathe, and sleep games. We don't even think about, the bottom button on a controller is usually jump, and usually when you hit start, that's usually where your menu is, and usually, like we just internalize all this stuff from decades of play. Literally the same thing for board games, dude. And so I feel like if you don't already have that stuff internalized for board games, it's so hard to get into them because, total tangent here, folks. Sorry, but like after buying all the board games and stuff, I will often open up the rule book and I'll be like, I don't understand. This rulebook does not tell me enough of what I need to know. And then I ask my board game friends, they're like, oh, well, duh, you got to do blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, how would I know that? Oh, well, all those games are like that. Okay, but I didn't know that. I don't play 3 board games a week. I don't have a regular board game night. And they're terrible. I mean, it's like, imagine playing every single video game with no tutorial. Now, some games that would be fine. Some games you could figure it out with brute force. But there's a lot of games where like there'd be some shit you just didn't understand if the tutorial didn't walk you through it. Like, materia crafting in FF7. If there was no tutorial, you'd be like, what the fuck is going on with this? I have no idea. Breeding chocobos? What's happening? Like, if you need to be walked through certain things, and I find that board games really fail so hard at explaining anything to people like me who are potentially the audience, but don't have that internalized knowledge. We don't have that literacy already built in. And so if I don't have a friend who already knows these board games front to back, I totally fail, dude. It's like when my father-in-law was just here recently for the summer. He doesn't know shit about video games, but he's got Parkinson's. And so he heard that doing video games is good for Parkinson's, right? So he's like, oh, Brad, you're the video game guy, and I didn't really care about it before, but now that I've got this really serious disease, why don't you sit down with me? Let's play some games. And I'm like, okay, fine. And I was able to like not only curate which games I thought would be good for him, like we pulled up Game Pass and I chose like 15 games. There's no way he would have ever known what games to choose, right? That's like going into like, like pull up, the iTunes movie store and just pick at random some movie. Like, you don't know. You got to figure out what's good for you, right? So I picked out the games. I sat down next to him. He didn't know shit from shit. Didn't know what buttons were what. Didn't know how anything worked. And I'm like, here's the A button. Here's the jump. You got to jump this thing. This is a platformer. So this means you got to collect this coin. You got to jump this thing. Like, I already know all this stuff and I'm helping him through it. And then he got on board and he ended up really liking some of these games because I was able to teach him the things that the game itself kind of assumed he would know, right? Right. Same thing with board games, dude. If you don't have somebody who's like guiding you through this shit, it's like impossible. So I say all this as a really long-winded way of saying we bought Gloomhaven, which is the biggest box on Earth. You could bury people in it, honestly.
Okay, all right. I know you want to put a person inside the box. Jeez.
So many people inside my box of Gloomhaven. And it was like 1,000 pieces, 1,000 little cutouts, little characters. There's like little secret pieces that you don't open till later. There's like maps. There's notebooks. There's all this stuff. And I'm like, holy shit, dude, what's going on? But we powered through. I set it up. I did a lot of reading. I did a lot of YouTubing. I asked a couple friends who had already played it. I got on the Gloomhaven, not the Discord, but like their page, like online. And I did all this reading. So we got to play a couple rounds. And I got to say, once me and the wife got into it, it was pretty fun. It was interesting. And I think that's really double interesting because I believe Gloomhaven is a board game that was created to simulate a video game.
What? And now we're playing the video game.
It's like there's like side quests, there's hidden agendas, there's leveling up, there's different ways that you use your abilities that seem like they are very clearly inspired by a video game. I don't know if this is true, but I'd be willing to bet money that the person who created Gloomhaven wanted to make a video game style RPG, but on tabletop. And that's what he did. And now we're going back to the other half of the circle because now this tabletop game is an online, not online, like an electronic video game. So it's kind of like, the snake eating its own tail kind of thing here.
Yeah, but you'd think that they wouldn't want to do a game if they were doing that in the board game.
Well, so I don't know. Who knows what
they want?
What darkness lurks in the hearts of men? We don't know that. But anyway, Gloomhaven is now a video game, and I got to say, I'm very excited about this because just like I said, with no one to run it, it got to be kind of a drag. We ended up playing 2-3 rounds and we stopped because too many pieces, too many things to keep track of. It was just too complicated. We're busy people, etc., etc. But I'm like, I like the idea. I like the characters, I like the concept, and now they have E-fied this game. They've put it all back into video games, and it's great. It's great to play this where the computer takes care of everything. You don't have to remember whose turn is what or who goes next or what the role was. Like the game takes care of all that stuff. So this is essentially a hyper complex, really in-depth, super complicated board game that is now electronic, and that's exactly what it is. It is no more and it is no less.
Got it. Yeah, it's like it's kind of what you were asking for in a way than a tutorial.
Yeah, it was. So I struggle to even begin to talk about Gloomhaven, but basically you take a couple characters, grid-based, turn-based strategy, but the hook to Gloomhaven is there's a system, and I'm not even going to really explain it fully, but like you choose cards. Each card has a top and a bottom, and each round you choose 2 cards. So if you choose the top of card A, that means you have to use the bottom of card B, or vice versa. So part of the strategy is what 2 cards do you choose? And then the further strategy is if I use the top ability of card A, that means I have to use the bottom of card B. So you're always trying to mix and match the cards so that you're using the top of one and the bottom of the other, and then doing something that is meaningful to you. So like maybe you need to move, and all the move is on the bottom card. Well, okay, I'm going to use this card, but that means my attacking has to be on the top of the other card, and you kind of go back and forth. It's really complicated. I'm not going to fully explain it here, but hopefully you get the gist. That's Gloomhaven's big thing, is the two-tiered card system thing. So they automate that, which I think is great. The graphics are pretty sharp looking. It looks like you would want a tabletop game in the video game world to look. Like it's all very kind of map-based and clean looking. Animations are fun. I think it looks good. It is exactly what Gloomhaven is. So that's good and bad, because up until recently, I think they didn't do great with the tutorials. And as you may imagine, a game that's as complex as Gloomhaven is really needs a lot of tutorialization. They try at it, but like, even though I knew how to play the game sort of from the board game, and then I went through all the tutorials, which took me like an hour and a half to get through the tutorials.
Jeez.
There were still questions of like, I don't understand what I'm doing. Why is this happening? What happened? I had to actually go to an FAQ 3 times to get through the tutorial because I didn't understand why I was failing the tutorial.
I'm out. I'm so out.
So they need to do better with the tutorials. And I think also one thing that would really help this game is if you were doing something wrong, if they would flag why you're doing it wrong. And I get that's not super easy, but without getting too much in the weeds, there's a way to screw yourself by playing your cards wrong, and you can really fuck yourself over, and your character can die because you misplayed your cards. And I think they need like more warnings about that, because it's like a really key system. You have to kind of just remember it, and it's pretty tough. I will say they did add a new mode called the Guildmaster mode. So you have your base game. Everything in the board game is in here. You can play the entire content of the board game. That's your main mode. Guildmaster mode is, I guess, made in response to people who were like, man, this is too hard. We don't understand. This is not what we thought it was going to be. So they have made it even more video gamey in the Guildmaster mode, where they have made some changes. It's not as harsh in terms of penalties to your characters. The difficulty is not as harsh. There are certain changes to how the town runs. You have a town kind of like Darkest Dungeon that you build up. So this is more straightforward. It's like 100 quests or something, and then you can finish it. So there's a more video gamey aspect. There is the hardcore board game aspect. But basically what you should know is, if you've ever wanted to play Gloomhaven but you didn't have a friend to run it with, or it was too complicated for you to get into, this is that. And I think in one sense it's really great, because I was very curious and I spent a lot of money on this box that I never really played. But I will say straight up, if you are like a strategy player coming to this because you want like an XCOM or like that kind of a thing, this is probably not going to cut it for you. There's a lot of really idiosyncratic board game rules here. The difficulty is really steep and progress is really slow. So I think that maybe something is missing by like not playing it as a board game and not having a few more concessions towards making it like an enjoyable single player experience. But again, I can't really fault it. This is exactly what I was asking for, and it's here, and I have been chugging through it, but boy, it's kind of a slog. Like, I'm still kind of enjoying it, but it's a real slog, and I don't know that I would really recommend it to anybody who just wanted a strategy game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It brings up a topic of, in this whole kind of mini review, is it brings up a topic of just board games and becoming video games, because
Yeah.
there's a few that can do it like and touch both sides of it.
Yeah.
Like Settlers of Catan is like easy enough to be like, oh yeah, I get it, in general.
Yeah.
Even though there's some small rules in that even. But like I think if it's super complicated, it's got a niche market for that then, because you got to be a board game person, I think. That's it.
Yeah.
If you're a board
Yeah.
game person, you want a digital version, there you go. This is what this is. It sounds like. So
Yeah, there are just certain little tweaks and stuff. I mean, I'm glad it's here. I was really excited for it. Like I said, I'm still trudging through it, but you got to know what you're getting into. And if you want to play a solo board game, then this is that. But don't come to this for like just your strategy fix. You
Yeah,
should be
yeah.
better off with something else, right? So
when you were describing it, by the way, real quick, to end this, the tutorial
Yeah.
of like the board game itself, the actual board game, I saw a future where we have contact lenses / glasses that do the AR stuff. Augmented reality, and it would just like you just look down at the board game and it would just show you what to do.
that would be great. I would use that.
You could do that.
I could mouse over something with my eyes and see the pop-up and get the rules. That would be great.
That is the future. We're just not. I don't know if we'll get there. You and I, we'll see.
We will get there. Maybe probably get there. We'll see. If Earth doesn't die first, we'll see what
Yeah.
happens. So, all right. So that is Gloomhaven. There you go. All right. Let's see what's coming up next here. All right, Star Ocean. That's coming up next here. You've got a kind of a double feature, Carlos. Double dose of Star Ocean. You're going to talk about the Star Ocean Second Departure demo, and then circle back to the original Star Ocean First Departure. So tell us about Star Ocean.
And by the way, you know of Star Ocean, but I'm guessing you played none of the games.
I think I played one of them a million years ago. Like I want to say it was like PlayStation 2 or something. It wasn't even on PlayStation 2.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them on there.
Yeah, I think I played like one of them, and I was just like, I was already kind of like falling out of my JRPG phase, so I never really went anywhere with it.
Okay. Yeah, I think a couple on PS2 or PS1, and we'll go through that list actually in a minute. But I'm bringing both of them because recently and out right now is the demo for Star Ocean Second Departure, or Second Story, as it was originally known.
Okay.
And so I was like excited because it was that same thing of take an old school game, old school graphics, but mix it with like the Octopath Traveler style, which
Graphics,
is
yeah,
graphics of like it's still pixel based, but it's got this cool new art look to it, and it's got like depth of field and all that stuff. So I was like, okay, I'll do that because if you remember, I think just last year I talked about the Divine Force, which was their newest game.
Yes.
And it was kind of the comeback for their series because they had been gone for so long. And people really liked it. Like, I loved it. And I think it did pretty well. So because of that, and I had such a good time with the idea of a sci-fi RPG, which is very hard to come by, right? Like, how many times?
Bizarrely hard to come by. I'm
Yeah.
so surprised that we don't have way more of these.
We should. It's a good combination. So because I had so much fun with that, I was like, let me go back to the roots. I played some of these older games. I don't think I'd beaten any of them, which made me feel bad because I love this series. So I went back and looked at, me, chronological order of how the game
Chronological
should be.
Carlos.
Chronological Carlos. That's a good name for the podcast. That they should be in the actual history of the world, right? Like the Star Ocean universe, this is the order that they take place, right? Not how when they came out. So it goes like this. I'm just going to mention this for people because it's kind of fun to know. But it starts with Star Ocean The Last Hope, which was released in 2009, so I don't know what system that's for. Then Star Ocean, which is called Star Ocean First Departure now. Star Ocean The Second Story, which is Star Ocean Second Departure. Blue Sphere, which is like an offshoot one. Integrity and Faithlessness is the one I'm guessing you maybe played.
That is quite a title.
I know, it's ridiculous. There's another side shoot one, Animesis, and then Divine Force, which is the one I played. And then Till the End of Time, which people like a lot, is the actual last game in the timeline.
Where was that? Sounds familiar. Where was Till the End of Time?
That was
PS2?
2003. So I think that's PS2.
Maybe that's the one I played. That sounds familiar to me.
Which is funny because then you played the very last game in the timeline. Yeah. So I'm going back. And, okay, so let me just talk about the Second Story for a minute. So why is it so cool is not only is it like an Octopath Traveler style, but they did something different where they really enhanced the game in a way that it's just not like just graphical. So it feels like, okay, the story, by the way, is a sci-fi story where you land on a planet that's underdeveloped. There's a big, huge overarching theme in Star Ocean games, which is underdeveloped planets and then sci-fi ones, right? Like people are in Star Trek world and they have spaceships and they travel, and then there's people who are on planets who have never gotten to that kind of technology.
Okay.
Like that's their whole thing. That's like Star Ocean in a nutshell, and the kind of interplay between that two. And there's all these rules. Like if you're a spaceship and you land on a planet, you're not supposed to talk about spaceships. You know, it's like really interesting. So, anyways, in Star Ocean's second story, Departure, you are these space team that land on a planet, and that's the point of view you're taking. You're the people from space,
Gotcha.
interacting, right? In the Divine Force, you're the same thing. You're space people landing on a planet. They don't understand technology. In the first Departure, you are actually the people on the planet. So they kind of jump back and forth with like who you start as.
Okay.
Got it? Okay.
Yes.
So that's the whole thing, because you gotta see that as the thing. So now second Departure, you are these space people, you land, but the graphics are like not just enhanced, but like they add like polygon, what's the word? I don't want to say polygon, but like actual, not just 8-bit graphics. Okay. So like you're in a mountainous area, all the mountains look like modern game. Does that make sense? It's like looks like a regular 3D game. Yes. And then your graphics are in the middle. So like Octopath Traveler would do that, cool depth of field, but even the graphics in the background were 8-bit or 16-bit. This is like, no, there's actually different graphics that would belong in a modern game.
Gotcha.
Got it. Okay. And so that makes a really big difference, because that with like new sound effects and new just lighting, like lens flare and stuff, it just makes the whole world feel much more alive. And also the playability of moving your characters around, it just feels better. Like combat feels really good. So I think they tightened that up, similar to Trials of Mana, which I loved. That remake really changed the controls, you remember? Yes. And it made it like a cool dodge roll that I loved and stuff.
Yeah, I remember you saying that, yeah.
That's what this feels like. It feels like it took the old game and said, like, let's up the ante and make it actually really more fun playable. So that's the game. I love it. Okay, everybody should check out the demo right now. It's freaking awesome.
Yep.
The reason I brought both games is because I was excited because the progress carries over, and I was like, oh, let's go. But the game doesn't come out till November.
Oh, that's far.
It's far. And it currently, at the time of this recording, it is September, the end of September. So I was very excited about it, love it, kept my save. But then I was like, okay, this would be my perfect time now to go back and beat First Departure, which is the very first game, with the very first main line game or whatever. So that's what I'm doing. And so when I went back to that game, which they also remade, that's why it's called First Departure. Yeah. Those graphics are like similar to Octopath Traveler. So it's like, oh, it's not even night. It's like night and day. It's like this wasn't a true full like redesign. It was like, no, they just kind of ported it with a bunch of like kind of better graphics. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of harsh to go back. You know what I mean? But But I bring it to the podcast because I just want everybody to know about that series. I think it's fucking great. I think there's some good comedy, some good heartfelt moments in it. The Divine Force had things like that were very modern, talking about stuff that actually happened in the real world in a way. And yeah, it feels like a kind of an adult story sometimes, and it's very fun to play. And it's an action combat, by the way. I didn't say that, but when you find a monster on the overworld, when you do the encounter, it's like fight, but then you're hitting buttons. So it's not turn-based.
Gotcha.
That's it. In general, it's super fun. The AI is pretty smart, even back then. It kind of does all the things it needs to do. Your companions. You can have multiple companions. You can have, like, no companions. It's kind of up to you. Similar to Suikoden. You know what I mean? And you're laughing because I said that correctly is why you're laughing?
Excellent pronunciation.
Thank you. But yeah, it's just super fun. And so now I'm playing First Departure. Thoughts from Brad Galloway.
I mean, you clearly like it, and I know that this is kind of like in your wheelhouse. This is the kind of game. This is what I think of when someone's like, "What games are Carlos's favorite games?" Because people ask me a lot of the time. Yeah. And I go, "This is the action RPG. This kind of like sci-fi stuff. Like this is really in your bucket, which is fine. Not my bucket, but that's okay. We can like different things, and that's all right. The only thing I was thinking of was it's a bummer that they put this demo out so early because there's no way you're gonna like pick the game up from the demo when it comes out in whatever November, December, whatever it was. It's like you should just start over. I'm guessing.
I know. Geez.
You're gonna forget everything you did.
Well, I don't think I will because especially if I'm like just beaten to First Departure. I didn't say this, but First Departure ends and second story takes up around like years later. It actually connects this one in a way. So I don't think I'll forget, but it is weird timing. I don't know why they put the demo out this early.
Yeah, you want to kind of get that momentum going and get people fired up. And it's one thing to be like, oh, I played the demo and I really liked it, and the game's coming out in 2 weeks. Oh, I'm so excited, pre-order. As opposed to, oh, I get to continue my progress, but it's like 9 months from now.
I know,
like,
I didn't hit the pre-order button, and I normally do that.
It's too far. The timing was off on that one.
So the timing being off, but I am still telling people to check it out because it reminds you of the series. I think they did an excellent job with Second Story. I mean, I want more games to be remade like this. Yeah, I didn't look at the. Is there a secondary developer that worked on it? I forgot, but
who knows?
They must have had contracted someone else. I feel like to kind of do this specialized version of it because it's so flashy and awesome. Anyways, that's it. I love both of them. I love Star Ocean. I'm playing First Departure, and I'm going to beat it, and then I'll talk about it on the show.
There you go. All right, getting close to the end of the show. We've only got 2 more games to talk about, but I feel like the last one is going to be a big discussion. So let me get one more thing out of the way before we crack into the main meat.
Can I guess what it is?
Our dinner. What?
Can I guess what the game is?
For me? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because you didn't tell me.
I didn't tell you.
I don't think you tell me ever. I just realized
I never tell you, yeah.
But behind the screen here, behind the scenes, before the show starts, you ask me what games I'm playing.
Yeah,
and talking about.
I do.
That's it. That's how the conversation ends. And then I never know. Well, this is weird. And I never know what you're talking about. Huh?
You never ask.
Well, I don't. Yeah, I guess not. But I don't. You write it for notes. But me, I'm not doing the notes. So it's just interesting because then you were like, and check out this game on the show. And I go, whoa, what's that? And I Google it. It's a weird dichotomy. Anyways.
You can always ask anytime. I'm happy to share.
I could, but why wouldn't I? Anyways. Lies of P you're talking about.
Yes, exactly.
And I have a question about it.
Okay. You want to ask your question first or you want to talk first?
You tell the people what it's about, then I'll ask the question.
All right. So first off, The Lies of P. This is a long-awaited Souls-like coming from, I believe it's a Korean developer. I think this might be their first game, possibly. I don't know because we don't do any research on the show. But is basically Souls-like, third person, behind the back, dark, parrying, different weapons, stamina, save points, corpse runs for your lost energy or whatever it is in this game. I want to say it's Souls. It's not Souls. It's something else. So all the basics, right? Most people listening to this podcast, I imagine, have probably played a Souls game or two in their day, or at least are very familiar with it. So this is very, very, very firmly entrenched in the Souls-like genre.
Round 8 Studios.
Round 8. Is it their first game? I bet it is.
Yeah, I don't see any. Oh, no. They worked on other little things.
Okay. So the one thing that immediately caught people's attention when this game was announced a year or two ago was the source material. It is based on Pinocchio. That's right. Pinocchio, the wooden puppet whose nose grew, Geppetto, the woodcutter, puppet maker, Jiminy Cricket, all that stuff. Monstro, the whale.
You've heard the story.
Yeah, if everybody's heard Pinocchio, then this is based on that. And you may think, what the fuck? How is the Souls-like based on Pinocchio? I'm still unraveling that, but I feel like so far it is pretty cool. Your character is... God, I don't know if they even say your name. They may not even say your name. I'm assuming you're P. You must be P because...
You're Pinocchio.
You must be.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of in all the cutscenes I've seen so far, I don't know that anybody even says your name. Maybe not.
They're like, hey, Pinocchio, get over here.
I don't think they even say that. I don't think there is.
That'd be funny, though, if that was the beginning of the game. Hey, Pinocchio, you're up. It's your time to be in this Souls-like. Go.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. That's almost exactly what happens, basically. Okay. So you're Pinocchio, but, okay, so you're in this kind of like cyberpunk, yet also Victorian times, kind of mishmash of time periods. This one reminds me a lot of the Steel... What was that one we played recently? Steel Rising. Yeah. Same vibe. Same bucket.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of like steampunk. It's kind of like low tech, but it's also kind of like high tech. And it's also kind of like oldie timey chimney sweep Victorian, but it's also sciencey. Kind of a weird blend. I mean, I'm kind of down with it. It's pretty cool.
Well, dude, that's why I played the demo. And we talked about it on this show already, if you forgot. But we did.
I think I totally forgot. But
yeah,
yes.
But and that's why I played the demo, because I was like, I love the style.
Yeah, the style is excellent. And I will say... this game style is killer. Like the graphics are really well done. Like it just looks beautiful. It's a little dark for my taste. I wouldn't mind a little more color, a little more light. And I get it's a Souls-like, but that doesn't mean it has to be black and dark all the time. But when you like look at like Pinocchio's character model, like he looks great. The enemy models, they all look very cool. Like, and the city design is great. Like it oozes with style, and I like this style a lot. I think Pinocchio, he looks like a normal human being, even though he is an artificial person. But his left arm is like cumbersome metal puppet arm, and the rest of his body is like indistinguishable from human being, although he is an artificial person. So that's a cool design, and he's got like these little like rich boy clothes on that are kind of like, I don't even know how to even describe them. It's like you look at him and you think like Prince Dauphin or something like that from like France or whatever. Like he's got this kind of like the flowery collar and stuff. Yeah. Really kind of, that kind of thing. So you begin the game and you don't really know what's going on. You wake up in this chair and they're like, oh man, we need your help, and you don't know what's going on. So it's kind of like an in media res sort of a thing. But as expected, you've got like heavy attack, light attack. You've got a dodge, or kind of a dodge out of the way. It's not a great dodge. I heard somebody tell me you can upgrade it later, which I'm looking forward to. Couple different weapons equipped at times, and you have like some throwables. You've got like your Estus flask. I mean, it's basically Souls. There's no real innovations in terms of the gameplay. And I don't mean that to sound unkind, although I'm struggling to think of like what differentiates it from other Souls-likes in terms of gameplay. I think it's mostly style. If you really like the style, you're going to want to play this one.
And let me stop you there, because normally that's where you will like get mad at a game that's a Souls-like when it doesn't have a discerning factor.
Yeah, and that is very true, and I think that you are correct. And I'm thinking like, so what does it do differently? Nothing really.
Interesting. Yeah.
It just is just like a Souls-like, but it's just the style. Like if you like the concept of Pinocchio as an artificial person, and they kind of go back to some typical themes. Like the game is called The Lies of P, and at first you're like, well, okay, we know Pinocchio lies from the story, but like how does that fit in this game? And I just got to one of the first instances of that. First, let me say also, I should have been further in this game, but what happened was I got the code from PR about 2 weeks ago. Well, more than 2 weeks, probably 3 weeks ago. And I'm only a couple hours into it. And the reason for that is there's a bug on Xbox. It doesn't hit everybody, but it's actually hit me a couple times. And it hits me. Of course it does.
Yes.
So what can happen is you enter a code that's a pre-release review code. The game, like you enter the code and they're like, yes, redeemed. But then it triggers you and flags you as game is still unreleased. It doesn't trigger you as being special reviewer who gets early access. It simply says you bought the game, great, but you get it with everybody else. You don't get it early. And that's what happened to me. I downloaded the game, took the code, it added it to my library, but I couldn't download it, couldn't access it, couldn't start it. And so I got in touch with PR. They're like, oh, fuck. They're like, yeah, we know about this bug. It happens every so often. There's a number of other people who got hit by it. So there were people who should have had a review up or had more coverage. I wanted to talk about this last week, actually, but I just couldn't play the game. So I had to wait. They fixed it somehow. So I got in a couple days early, but I think it's already up on Game Pass, I believe. Does that seem right to you, Carlos?
Yeah, it's up now. And,
yeah.
It's on PlayStation, I think, right? I think
it's on PlayStation, it's on PC, it's on Xbox,
Yeah.
and I was gonna play it on Game Pass if I didn't get a code, but I did. But I only got into it maybe like 2 or 3 days before it hit Game Pass, when I should have been into it like 2 weeks ahead of time. So
All right.
nothing I could do about that. But that's why I'm kind of talking about it now. But basically, the lies is that in this world there are automatons, and the automatons go berserk, as they always do in games like this, just like in Steel Rising, just like in every other game. And you are an automaton, but something that's different about you is that you can lie. All the other automatons are forced to tell the truth. They cannot lie because they are mechanical beings. So let's say, for example, you get to this hotel, and it's a refuge for human beings, and they won't let you in because you're an automaton. But if you say, no, I'm actually a human, even though you're not, then they're like, oh, okay, we'll come in then. So like, how you navigate the world, whether you lie or whether you don't, will have an effect on certain things. I'm pretty early still, so I don't know how far reaching that is, or like what significant choices there are. But that was kind of their implementation, with the lies being that you are advanced or you are somehow special automaton in this world of normal automatons. Something makes you stand out, and so you're like the last hope of these people, which is kind of exactly like it was in Steel Rising. Basically the same thing.
Yeah, and that was my question, by the way, so we can get out of the way, which is like, how much does that lying actually affect the story? Because that is a cool, extra piece that isn't just Souls-like. And I saw a scene like in a YouTube video or something where like someone said, hey, go get this for me. And then when you get it, you can be like, oh, I don't have it anymore, but just keep it.
And
you
just
know?
lie like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind
Yeah.
of
So I don't know. I can't say. I'm too early in because I missed the review period. So I don't know. I don't know. It would be great if they really played that up. If they gave you a lot of big story choices.
Yeah.
We'll see. TBD. TBD.
Okay.
But what I like about it so far, I think the style's awesome. I really love the style a lot. This kind of weird, clunky, steampunk, Victorian, future, sciencey, whatever this thing is great. I think the controls are solid. I think navigating around is fine. It's all good. Like, I think for me the style is really what's winning me over, even though I think mechanically it is the same. Although there is an issue though. I will say this game's difficulty is pretty steep, and I feel like you're out for sure. And I feel like this is aimed at people who are very familiar with Souls-likes and who perhaps are a little bit higher up on the get good scale than I am. And the reason I say that is when you're walking around the levels like regular Souls, it's fine. You have different weapons. You can kind of change up your style a little bit. The heavy weapon, light weapon, medium weapon, whatever. You can change the makeup of your weapon, like so you can give yourself different abilities by changing the blade or changing the handle of your weapon, which is cool. But when you get to the bosses and some of the heavier enemies, like you have to parry. You have to parry. Your dodge is not great. Enemies, even if they're big enemies, they're fast. Like they're really fast. They hit really hard. They don't play by the big and slow rule where like you should be able to dance around them. And so you have to parry. And not only is there a parry, there's a perfect parry.
Ugh.
So, which is not great. I don't feel like the animations are very well telegraphed. I don't feel like they're slow enough. I feel like they're like, if you liked Sekiro, if you had no problem getting past the first boss of Wolong, then this is for you. Which is difficult, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I did both those things, but I didn't like it, and I kind of hated it. So when you get to the bosses, I feel like it's kind of a brick wall for a while because you have to just parry. You can't really dodge, and a lot of times they do these unblockables where if you perfect parry the unblockable, you can survive it, and if you don't, then you get fucking spanked down, which sucks. So I don't know that I'm going to finish this because I don't like that approach. I wish they would give you, I mean, maybe there's an item later that changes your parry, or maybe you can get a better dodge or what. But like so far, being in the position of you have to parry and sometimes you have to perfect parry is not fun. I don't enjoy that. I think it's a really bad decision. So that's my only caveat so far. But otherwise, it is a very straightforward, well done. Nothing wrong with it really. Like it looks great style, good systems. It knows the genre well. They're doing what they want to do. But this one is live or die on style. So if you like the style, you'll probably enjoy it. Just be ready to parry and perfect parry. If you don't care for the style, there's not really anything here to differentiate it from other Souls-likes, honestly. So I guess that's where it falls.
There you go. I'm just so out. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I also remember I was kind of out during the demo because of the things you just said, which is I didn't like the dodge, and I didn't want to have to parry the big bosses, which I did have to. So
Yeah.
it sucks because I love the style so much.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to finish it. I'm still in for now. And I was able to squeak by a couple of bosses, but I'm like, man, these guys shouldn't be this hard. Like they really want you to lean on the parry, which I'm just over. I know we've said this a million times, but I'm done. People can be done with parrying. Let's move on. Or at the very least, make it so that it's more accessible. Give me an item that lets me widen the parry window, or let me just dodge and not have to parry at all. And it's funny because it's just like an arbitrary skill test. Like there's nothing inherent about parrying that says you have to do it perfectly. My wife just started playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I love. Parrying that game is great. You can like parry with your eyes closed. You can parry with the controller behind your back. They're like, whatever, just parry, just do it, dude. Like, and they let you do it, and it's fun.
Yeah.
You just roll. Same thing with I was having a discussion with someone on Blue Sky, and they're like, well, if you remember, one of the original parries was Batman the Arkham series, and you could parry fucking 3 seconds too late from halfway across the screen, and Batman like swooshed over and he parried it.
Yeah.
Like it's make it a function. Don't make it a reflex check. You know what I'm saying?
That's perfect. That's exactly it. Because I remember tons of games like that. I remember Odyssey too, and I remember games where like, yeah, just hit the parry button. Like you don't have to, if you miss it and don't actually hit it, then of course you're going to get hit. But if you hit the button, then it works.
Yes.
Crazy concept.
I think that's fine. You can have hardcore parry mode, and then you can have relaxed parry mode, where if I push a button, just make it work, because all you're really doing is testing me on whether A, I can recognize your enemies' animations, whether they're fast enough, slow enough, good enough or not, and B, can I hit the button with the internal timing in order to pass whatever, bar you've set for me. That's all it is. You're just checking my reflexes. It's not about strategy. It's not about clever gameplay. It's not about speccing your character. And I just really don't appreciate that very much. So I wish people would get the fuck off it. And if you're going to do a parry, make it accessible, make it better.
And can I offer up C of your A-B comparison? C is, remember Star Wars, they allowed us to make that parry window wider.
Yes.
That was actually a feature. And guess what? The C is, it's not even either of those things. It doesn't have to be a check. Because what are we, fucking mathematicians? You know what I mean? Is this a strategy? No. Yeah. How about this? That it's just fun and looks cool? Oh, no, that could be fun. Because that's what the Star Wars one did. Because I made the parry window open more, I just had fun parrying.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, whoa, there's a crazy idea because it looks cool and it feels good and it allows me to do another combo after.
Right.
I was having a lot of fun parrying in Star Wars because it let me do that. So that's a perfect example.
Yeah, you're totally right, dude. I just really resent when it comes down to if you have fast enough reflexes, you will have a good time with this game. And if you don't have these exact reflexes, you will have a very, very bad time with this game.
It's outdated. It's outdated.
Yeah, is that really what you want your game to be about? Like, that seems ridiculous to me. So
I feel like, and I'm going to say this, a line in the sand, I say that's outdated now because it's like that it existed when we were, just coming up in video games like 16-bit era, whatever, even PlayStation, where it was like a feature because that's like one of the things they had to do, like one of the things they could do to make something difficult.
Yeah.
Well, we've evolved past that. Like, I just think it's like in the
fully
past.
Agree. Yeah. Fully fucking agree. We need to just get off of this thing. So, Okay, so that is the Lies of P. Hopefully, we've done that justice. I'll fill you in if I keep getting further. I'm chipping away at it again, but I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm going to nope out at some point when I just get kind of irritated with the pairing. So,
all right, we'll see.
All right, the main event of the show, something that we've been wanting to talk about for a while. I know that Carlos has discussed CYBERPUNK 2077 a bunch, mostly when it released last year or whatever it was, but I didn't play it. If you'll recall, I intentionally did not play it because I wanted to have the optimal experience. I'm a big fan of what CD Projekt Red did with The Witcher 3, and I figured they would probably do something equally good with this, and I wanted to wait for it to be complete and polished and get rid of the bugs, and I was even waiting for some more content, and it's been about a year. So CYBERPUNK 2077 2.0 just dropped this month, and along with 2.0 is Phantom Liberty, which is apparently the one and only expansion they're going to do. I believe this is it. I don't think there's any more DLC coming or anything like that, so we'll see. But those things are up. Those things are ready. I got a code for Phantom Liberty. I already had CYBERPUNK. I just didn't play it. Carlos, you got a code as well, so thank you to the publishers for that. And now we are past the embargo window, which we were salivating about. We were raring to go, but we are now in the clear. We can say whatever we want to about 2.0 and Phantom Liberty. So I'm going to be approaching this as someone who has never played CYBERPUNK until literally right now.
Crazy.
And Carlos, you're the person who's been in the trenches since day one, the grizzled veteran who seen the good, seen the bad, fought through the bugs, and you're going to bring the other half of the equation, correct?
Yeah, and it's a perfect pairing, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Two different sides of the coin.
Wine and cheese, chocolate and peanut butter, fish and chips.
100%.
Any of those things. So, Carlos, I just talked for a bunch. You lead off. Number one, quick recap on CYBERPUNK, and then tell us what's up with 2.0 and Phantom Liberty.
Well, before we start that, we could both talk about the main bug we had, which was unfortunate.
Yeah. Very unfortunate.
And it was a very small amount of people that got the bug because I thought it would be all over Twitter and all over places when it happened. But when the 2.0 update actually went through, and the DLC, I guess, maybe preloaded or something, because it's not out at the time when we were reviewing it, wasn't out yet.
Right.
The reviewers who had it already installed, including like 2.0 and everything, got a bug where we couldn't even start the game.
Couldn't even launch the game. Yes.
Couldn't launch the game. It just crashed immediately. And the way to fix it, I don't think anybody listening is in that camp anymore. I think it's all been fixed. But we had to delete the game and then delete the DLC, start the game, and then reload the DLC. That's how I think mine fixed.
It was kludgy. It didn't work for me at first, but then it later worked. But then it was like the save wasn't compatible, but then it was I mean, regardless, it was just a clusterfuck. And I mean, kudos to CD Projekt Red. They got right on it. PR got right on it. And, we got back in the game after like a day. So that kind of sucked that I had like one, first world problems. I get it. Whatever. Oh, you couldn't play your game for the day. I get it. But still, I think I was upset. You're upset because we were having such a good time with it. I really wanted to get back to it, and it was a bummer that we got locked out.
Yeah. So small 1-day lockout, but that's fine.
No big deal.
But more importantly, I mean, cut to the chase. For me, I played this game since it came out, which was, by the way, 2020. So it's about 3 years since you
What?
cited it.
No, it hasn't. This came out in 2020?
December 10th, 2020.
What? That can't be right.
It's
dude.
right. It's 100% right. And it was it was around the same time that my PS5 came out because I was excited to get the PS5 and play it on there. And then I couldn't, if you remember, because it was only for PS4. There was no PS5 upgrade. Do you remember? It was just a PS4 game or Xbox Series.
Oh my god!
S game.
Wow, what? It's been that long?
Yeah.
I could have swore it was not that long.
Which is why every time I brought it up and you go like, I'm waiting. I'm like, for what?
Well, for this,
but for this moment, you are. Yeah. But yeah.
Wow.
And so I've been playing it forever, and even after, I beat it and stuff like that. There's all this DLC or other side mission stuff that's come out. And then there was the Carlos explores the world and tries to get outside of the map stuff that I would do. So yeah, I've just been living in that world for a long time. And then 2.0 is essentially an upgrade of all the main systems. Combat feels better. There's a ton of new stuff, and we won't go through all the whole list, but you can just play it. It just combat feels better. Melee, which is my main thing. Even you can block bullets with your sword, which is fucking cool as shit. Tons of new skill trees. They basically redid all the skill, which is essentially they let you respec at the beginning and go, okay, here we've kind of changed things, put the points in where you want them. And then the main thing of 2.0 for me was that they got rid of armor on clothing, and they made all the armor within the cyberware. And if you remember watching Edge Runners, which I loved, the anime, Netflix anime, they really focused on, the cyber updates and the fact that you could take too many of them, become a cyber psycho and stuff. So they really leaned on that. I feel like that's cool that they brought the lore more into the actual gameplay. Mm-hmm. So it's not like I got a fancy coat and it's a 200 armor. It's like, no, I went to the Ripper Doc and installed the right thing, and now I'm stronger. You know what I mean?
Interesting. I didn't realize that was a change.
That's a big change. That's a big change. Okay. And here's a funny asterisk note, is that Carlos, who had basically broken the game because I played it 250 hours, and there was all these hacks back in the day. I had clothing was armor, remember? And you can upgrade your clothing back in the day. So I had certain shirts that were 300 armor by themselves.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And if this game has I don't know, maybe 400 or 500 is a really good number. I had 300 or 400 on one shirt. So my actual damage, or armor defense, before this thing went through was 1,800.
Oh, so you were did it even register damage? Was it 0
No,
or was
I
it 1?
I could not get hurt.
Couldn't be damaged.
I couldn't get
damaged.
But I worked hard for that 1,800 damage.
Right.
Okay,
You put in your time.
I did, and I grinded and stuff. So that's gone, right? Gone, and it's just all cyberware. But then, as soon as I saw that, you can go ahead and add armor into those slots. Which, by the way, I'm telling you for the first time now, but you should do that because
I have done that. Yeah, I did that.
Okay, cool. And then you can even upgrade those into different upgrades and stuff. Then on top of that, there's skill tree stuff, which actually is like Skyrim, the old Skyrim, and kind of like Starfield. No, actually, it's not like Starfield. It's more like Skyrim, where if you use a thing over and over again, it gets better.
Yes, I did notice that. Yes.
Yeah, which is just a fun side thing. You don't need to use it. It's a bonus.
Yeah, bonus.
And then lastly, on 2.0 is the cops are better, which we've all been always asking for. Will they get better? Will they send more, max forces against you after a while, like Grand Theft Auto? And then on top of that, they're just not as dumb, and also won't just descend on you even if they don't see you. It's the cop has to be in your vision.
Yeah, there are vision circles. I've seen that.
Yeah. So it just feels more real. All that said, those are all, in my opinion, just positive changes, and then also car combat was one of those things too. But before I get into DLC 2.0, did you? It's funny because you're playing this for the first time.
Right.
You can't see those differences, but did they feel like they made the world more believable?
Well, okay, so I can't answer that specifically, but what I can say is with me having my first experience with Cyberpunk with 2.0 and with the Phantom Liberty DLC installed, my first impression of this game was, wow, this is amazing. It looks great. It feels great. Everything seems the world seems great. I didn't notice anything wonky. I remember seeing all those videos of weird shit happening. There's been a couple bugs here and there, but like totally like nothing even really worth talking about.
Yeah.
And it just feels very polished and very refined and very well thought out. So I don't know what to compare it to, but my first impression is very favorable.
Yeah, it's like you're seeing the clean sheen on it, fully. But also, it's essentially what, for the people who have been playing it for a while, it's the final upgrade to say, like, this is kind of like what we wanted from the very beginning, right?
Right.
Like No Man's Sky, we talked about that before.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's 2.0, and again, I love it. I think I told you this, one more side note, is that the emergent gameplay seems a little more stronger. So, like, I was just walking down a street, and this car flew by, hit a bunch of pedestrians. It didn't care, kept going. Another car was chasing it. They were both shooting at each other. I looked around the corner, an explosion happened, like one car had blown up or something. And then, all this stuff just went on over there. And I was like, that's just kind of fun to watch,
There's definitely stuff that happens that you're not a part of, which you can make yourself a part of if you wish. And sometimes people will try to get you involved too. I don't know how much of this has happened to you, but there's definitely been a few times when I'm just minding my own business and someone will like try to start shit with me, or like, I'll be walking down a street and then someone will think I'm sketchy or something and start some things. So there's definitely a feeling of things happening, and things going on in the world. I mean, it doesn't feel like living, breathing in the sense that everybody's got their own routine or anything, but for me, it definitely clears the bar of stuff going on in the city. Like, I think it's at a very acceptable level for me.
That's a good point to bring up, because I think what this game does, unlike other games like RPGs and stuff, where like you said, there's certain characters that give quests or whatever, and they're in the world. This is more like gangs, right? They really focused on gangs. And so if you're in an area where you shouldn't be in, or they don't like you, like you said, they'll approach you and be like, get the fuck out of here.
Exactly.
Which is super fun. And also, if you're aligned with gangs like I am from like playing it for so long, like you can just freely go in areas, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because it's like,
right.
You got mad respect or whatever.
You got the props.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's more that type of game. But there's still tons of emerging gameplay that comes from that.
For sure.
And then I won't talk about DLC yet, but in general, what do you think about the game, Brad Galloway?
All right, so let's take a step back. So I looked at the December 10th, 2020, and it's like a year and a half or something, like, all told. I've been kind of watching from the sidelines. I knew of it, of course. You and I have talked about it on the show, of course, a million times. And I didn't, I've heard things on Twitter and whatever, but firing it up for the first time, and we even talked about this offline, like we texted and we talked on the phone about this, was like, it really hit me differently than I thought it was going to. It was a different kind of experience, for a couple different reasons. Just as a quick recap for anybody who doesn't know, I mean, I didn't know, I guess. You play a person named V. You can be a male or a female. You're in Night City, and stuff happens. I mean, there's a bunch of quests. It's also kind of like an open world Grand Theft Auto sort of setup, which I wasn't super knowledgeable about. I didn't know how that implementation was going to work. But you're in the city to do these quests. There's lots of characters you can talk to, or you can also just do whatever you want, which is fine too. So when I started playing this game, I gotta say, so one thing I think this game's great. I love this game, so I'm definitely on board with you. I think this game is really surprising in a lot of ways, and I think it's really mature in a lot of ways, even though it is like very immature in some ways. But in terms of like the structure of the game, the structure of the quests, the writing, most of the writing I think is really really above average. Like, it's just really well done. And so that part is great. There's also like the other side of it, which is like the Grand Theft Auto, like run around and do stuff side, which is also pretty interesting in and of itself. But when I started playing the game, I will say, I don't think this game starts well. I found that it was a little bit confusing. There's a lot of systems going on that the tutorials just don't really do a good job of explaining. I feel like they started to do quests that kind of like walk you through what the systems of the game are, but I don't feel like they were sufficient. I still had a lot of questions about certain things when I was beginning. And that goes even as far as how to even play the game. Now, I talked to you and you gave me some good advice actually, which was when you start the game, just do story quests until you hit a certain point, and then at that point, I'm not going to spoil anything, but it'll become pretty clear that this is a part where you feel safe to go do whatever you want to do at this point, which is fine. So I'm glad you said that, because as I started the game, I got really wrapped up in not really knowing what to do and not really sure where to go and what was the important thing to do and what was not. And they make a big deal of talking about, well, I don't know if the game does itself, but I heard a lot of people saying, there is a point of no return, and there's certain quests, like, if you go too far, you'll miss some things. And so I got kind of freaked out about that. And so I got kind of like lost in the weeds doing some of the side stuff and just wasting time, basically. So I wish that they had a little bit of a more linear start. Like, you can open up the game later on, but I would have appreciated not having as much choice at the beginning. A couple quests that really drill down on the systems of the game. I realize it's hard because some of these systems are new. A lot of these 2.0 systems are brand new. So I wish they would have gone, like, maybe had some 2.0 specific quests that were threaded back to the beginning of the game where it walks you through some of the new stuff, which would be great. I stumbled my way through it. You helped me with a lot of it. I looked up some things online and I kind of figured it out. But even today, I'm like 15, 18 hours in. And just today, I learned some new stuff that I had no idea was there. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I didn't realize this was a thing.
Yeah.
Wished I knew that 10 hours ago, that kind of thing.
I'll just add one thing is that I think that I agree, because when I played it when it first came out, I was a little confused as well, because I thought it was like, I knew it was GTA more, but at the same time, I was like, I don't know what I should be focusing on.
Yeah, exactly.
So I remember that same feeling. And then there's like a huge cutscene thing that goes on that tells you about the past. Yeah. And I thought that felt rushed.
It did feel rushed.
Even back in the day. So, like, that's not changed, right? I think that's something that retroactively would be difficult for them to change at this point. So I agree with you there. But then once you hit the main,
yes,
thing, it's pretty clear on what you should probably do. And if just like Skyrim or some other game, I brought that up twice, if you just mainline it, I think that's the best way to go. Because then,
I agree.
And then once you get in the middle and say you're 25 hours in, yeah, you can fuck around like for a week if you want. Now that you're in it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think we should probably say also this will be a spoiler-free discussion. I'm not going to spoil anything. We should probably not spoil anything. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are probably looking forward to the DLC, or maybe even like me who haven't even played this game. I spoke to several people on Twitter who had never played this game at all, and they were in my same boat. So I think there's definitely people out there who are waiting or just hadn't got around to it yet. So this will be a new jumping on point for a lot of folks. So no spoilers.
But I will say some things about the DLC, and I'll say something before
that's totally fine. Yeah. And maybe if you have anything spoiled, we'll put a spoiler warning up. But for right now, we're just talking about the game in general. So yeah, the beginning I thought wasn't great. I got a little confused. I got a little lost. There's a lot of systems going on that I didn't understand fully. I wasn't quite sure of what was what. And they also do the cyberpunk thing where, have you ever read any of the William Gibson books? Like back in the day?
Of course.
He was famous for like not letting the reader in. Like, he would just talk about something like you already knew what it was, and you would have to use context clues or just keep reading to figure out what it was he was talking about. And I feel like that was really pretty thick in the beginning, where they're dropping a lot of names. They're dropping a lot of terms that you might not know. And some of them are pretty easy to figure out, but some of them I'm like, wait, who are we talking about? Like, who is this? What? Like, I'm, a little bit lost. Not so lost that I couldn't progress and was confused or anything, but just like, that sense of like, okay, I'm not 100% sure about what's going on here.
But let me say to that, there's also a lot of slang, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's
yeah,
preem, and hey, get out of here, Choom, which I know all of it now because I've played for so long. But the point is, I want to actually add to that and say that I like that they actually talk about sticking with your guns or sticking to your guns. The whole world, up until the DLC now, even the DLC, the world is the world, and they talk like they talk. And, you know what I mean? Like, there's other games that like just kind of talk like we talk, and it's normal, whatever, even though they're in a fantasy world. But this is like, no. It is difficult to follow sometimes. You have to play a long time, and then you finally get it. Yeah. But then the slang after a while. So it's almost like it makes you work a little bit, kind of to your point about the book, right? Because the book doesn't give a shit.
You had to work to get into those books too, for sure.
I'd say it's less work than the book, but I actually appreciate that because I'm like, this is this world. Like, they don't give a fuck about what what you call a whatever. It's how they call it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's terrible. And I don't necessarily I don't need like an in-game glossary or anything like that. But just like in certain parts where, once you get on the main storyline track, I was a little bit confused at certain points about who was who and what was going on. I don't know necessarily how to fix that, or maybe that's just inherent to the cyberpunk genre itself. But I mean, not a big deal. It was just like, it took me a little while to kind of get on board with what was happening.
Yeah, I get it.
But once you get it and start playing, once you get on the main story track, I was really, really impressed, honestly, with the level of storytelling, the complexity of the quests and the ideas that they put forward. Okay, so one side note, I'm going to say this now, and I probably won't say it again. I do not like I'm playing female V. You're probably playing male V, I would assume.
I am, yep.
I do not like some of my dialogue choices. She comes off as a lot more rude than I would want to be. Maybe that changes as time goes on, but like sometimes I'm doing a dialogue choice and I'm like, I don't want to say either of these things. Neither of these is how I want to play the situation.
Yeah.
And I get that it's more story based and you're kind of playing a character, which is fine, but there's certain times when I'm like, why the fuck did you say that? Like, why are you like, it's happening less as it goes on. I'm 15, 18 hours in now, but at the beginning I was like, I don't want to say these things. And that was a little bit difficult. I wish they had, giving you a little bit more option, because it does feel like you're playing yourself sometimes, but then sometimes it feels like you're playing V, and they kind of go back and forth a little bit narratively, I think.
Yeah,
what do you think about that?
Yeah, because I think that it's I think in general, now that I've played 250 hours or something, I / anybody who plays that much of it, hopefully you will someday, is you are V. And so that really is the answer. Like,
that's what I think too.
You're making choices for V, this character, female or male, and that character is kind of harsh and kind of like hardened because this world is hardened.
Yeah.
You know, this is Night City. It's a fucked up place. Shit's going down everywhere all the time. Another kind of thing that is an asterisk, I love the world building that they did. It just all feels real. Like, it feels like a real place. And so I think that character is a harsh character. And it's just like, that's kind of it. And you can make some choices within it. And it does change. There's definitely like lots of endings and lots of different people you can be with or not. But yeah, I think that's the answer.
Yeah, I agree too. And I think that in that sense, I would have liked a few more options, because sometimes you only get like one or two things to say. And I'm like, well, I don't want to say that. And but whatever, you just kind of roll with it. But that aside, I feel like we're going to say this a lot, and I'm sure we're going to win some fans for saying this, but like playing this after we just got done playing Starfield,
I knew you were going to bring it up. Yeah,
is such an amazing experience. It is such an amazing experience, because I'm trying to think of something that's really, really harsh and insulting I can say about Starfield, and everything I've come up with is not strong enough. Because with all the props and all the cheerleading that Starfield is getting this year, I realize Cyberpunk had some issues. It's got a 2.0. It's had some time in the cooker. I get it. But like, apart from all that stuff, looking at just the quests, the quest design, the stuff you do in the quests, the way that you approach the characters in that game, the way that they build up the characters, the people that you get to know, the whole point of the world, and the way that you just associate with things is like Starfield is like a broken crayon, and Cyberpunk is like an oil painting in a gallery.
Okay,
like,
there you go. I was waiting for the metaphor. That's it.
Yeah. It's like, it's so far beyond what anything happens in Starfield, dude. It's like a joke.
I was gonna say night and day, but that's not far enough apart.
It's not far enough apart, dude.
Yeah.
It's not far enough apart. It's like, it's so far removed. It's so far above. The nuance in the writing, the depth of character, the way that they have quiet scenes, the way that you have people where you just talk to and you just kind of vibe off them for a while.
Yes.
The way that the stuff that you do in your quests is not every quest in Cyberpunk is go to a place, kill 75 dudes, grab a doodad, and come back. Like, there's very little of that. Like, there's been a lot of going to talk to somebody, or you go and negotiate a situation, or you go to find something, or there's all these different like ways that you can approach people. And I'm just like, everybody that's celebrating Starfield right now, I need you to go back and play Cyberpunk, because it is so basic. It is so fucking pumpkin spice latte basic compared to like Cyberpunk's shit. It's like, they're not even on the same level, dude. Not even anywhere on the same level.
To that point, I wrote down animatronic versus like realness.
Yeah.
Because animatronic is what Bethesda feels like, and they've always felt like that,
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I've still enjoyed their games. But yeah, it's like night and day in the fact that like, this is a quest, and it's actually just a quest. And in Cyberpunk, it's like a moment.
Yeah.
I said the weight of the moment. You just said that too. I had a moment, which is minor spoiler for a moment somewhere in the game, okay? It's not a spoiler really, but it's more like I just went to go have a drink with someone at a bar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then like the jukebox was on, and if I decided, I could go dance with that person, you know, or I could not, you know.
Yeah.
And because I decided to, there was a cool moment where they're like, "You don't dance ever, do you?" And I was like, "No, I don't." And then, you know, whatever, we went back and talked more, and that's the quest. You know, like that was just
that's
thing.
it. That's the quest. Exactly.
And it felt fucking great. And then I went outside and it was raining, and I was like, "Oh shit, that was a moment."
Exactly.
And that's, I think, why I've always loved this game so much, and we're finally kind of crystallizing it, is that it similar to other Bethesda games in the past too, Skyrim and stuff. Like I have had those moments, and that's what this game has a ton of. You know,
Right.
a ton
I
of.
agree. Yeah. I mean, and to be perfectly frank, I don't feel like Bethesda is good at those moments. They are good at mechanical dog going after a bone fetch quest, like really like grindy mechanical stuff, which is great for some people. It's a thing. It's a thing. If you like that thing, that's great.
Yeah.
It's never really worked for me, and it's ironic that my favorite Fallout game is New Vegas because that's the one that they didn't do. I'm not really a fan of Bethesda in general because I don't think their writing is very good. I mean, they've had moments for sure. I'm not saying they never have, but it's not their forte. It's not their strength. But like within the first day of playing Cyberpunk, I already had way more moments than I had in like my 6 or 7 hours of Starfield, right? Like one of the initial quests, kind of like you're describing, I think I mentioned this to you already offline, was you go to negotiate with these punks for some stuff. I'm not going to spoil anything here, but like you end up just like sitting down and talking to them. And like that talk that you have with those people, super tense, dude. I was like sweating and I was nervous and I'm like, oh my God. Like, and I actually thought to myself, I am feeling something. I'm having a physical, visceral reaction to what is going on here. And I've had several. I've had many so far. As opposed to like the time that I was like brainlessly clicking buttons on Starfield and just like fast travel here and here's the thing and I'm gonna hoover up this loot and I'm gonna go back to my thing and I'm gonna do my thing, and it's like I felt fuck all nothing in all the hours I put into Starfield, and within the first day, the first session, I was already feeling feelings, and that is worth something. That is worth noting that. And this has nothing to do with 2.0. I'm sure this was probably there beforehand, but I'm just coming to it now. But just the approach, just the knowledge of like how humans interact, how you feel something, how you see something, what does it mean emotionally, how do you relate to people, that's at the forefront of Cyberpunk, and it's nowhere on the radar of Starfield.
That's true. And there's to that point, without a spoiler, but there's companion quests in this.
Yeah.
And the companion quests again are so much more rich and detailed and heartfelt than anything I did in the companion quest in Starfield, just to bring them up because again, we're giving kudos to CD Projekt.
We are.
But like there's a woman you can romance and you go on a thing with her, and at the end of it you find out about her childhood and stuff, right? And you find out about her hometown, and it just, when you're done with that and driving home and it's sunset, that's a feeling, man. Like it gives you these vibes.
Yeah.
And it's also, I'll say this too, we're just throwing, coals on, you're throwing stones
fuel
on top
on the
of
fire.
Fuel on the fire, is that the set pieces, some are in Cyberpunk are like, the best I've ever played in a game.
They're like incredible. Yeah, they're incredible.
And you haven't even seen, Brad. You haven't even seen.
Oh no, I'm scratching the surface. I'm nowhere yet. I'm
because
nowhere.
I just played one in DLC, which is not a spoiler, and it was one of my favorite set pieces ever. And it was in the DLC. And one of my favorite set pieces ever is in the in quotes ending of the main campaign.
Yeah.
So it's just, there's so many moments where you're like, this is just so much.
Well,
so intense.
yeah, dude, 100%. And even all the small stuff, like I started doing, before I got on the podcast today, I'm like, oh, I got to record in a minute. I didn't want to start a big quest, so I was doing some of the small, like, scattered throughout the city quests or the gigs or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was it was just funny. It was just really funny. Like, and that was the point of it. It was, you needed to go here. You did a funny thing, and that was your quest. Like, just the very approach of a developer to say, we're going to do this other thing. Like, you're going to have an experience, and that's what we're delivering to you. That is so valuable. And I just, that just wasn't anything that I saw on display in Starfield. I mean, I hear people praising it, and I know a lot of our friends like it, and that's fine. I'm not gonna take it away from you. But I just have to say, like, from an objective standpoint, looking at these two things, one of these things is clearly more advanced and more sophisticated than the other. Not that they're both, not that you can't enjoy them both, but they're just so different. And one is just way out of the park, and one is just like barely getting going.
Watch
So.
here. I'm going to put a silver lining on that for anybody who like hates us for saying that stuff, because it's just, in our opinion, is the objective truth.
It's just the objective truth.
Is that it's kind of like a Switch game and a console game, like in a PlayStation or Xbox game. In my opinion, it's like, yeah, you could just enjoy that. Like, you can enjoy Starfield like a ton and do ship building.
Yeah, you can. Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's a Switch game, in my opinion, versus Cyberpunk. Like, it's not that 3D world with believable characters and a place I want to exist in all the time. Like, there's a Cyberpunk world in Starfield. Last thing about them. And it's like, it's obviously just taking Night City. I mean, it looks, just,
Neon City.
Neon City or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just not, it's a small town. It's like literally like 3 streets, and like you go into an apartment building, there's like one apartment open. And in this place, you could like be in like a ghetto somewhere and go into an apartment complex, and all the doors, most of them you can open and go in there and see things and find weird shit and find a quest. It's just like, it's like not even a world, it's like it's like what's it called? Like Disney World or something. Like it's a fake set.
It's like a fake town where you see the front of the building, but there's nothing behind it. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, it's just fun for that sake, but it's just a different kind of game.
Well, coming to it as a newcomer, I'm actually really relieved in a way, because so many people were having negative responses, whether that's right or wrong, whatever, but it was just the fact. And, they launched too early. I think people would probably argue that. But now that it's here, being such a fan of The Witcher 3, which is, very possibly my favorite game of all time, standards have been set, expectations have been set. I was really worried that Cyberpunk wouldn't match that or wouldn't be as good an experience as that. And I don't know, when all is said and done, I don't know whether I'm going to like Cyberpunk more than The Witcher, but I am very relieved to see that they have really given a lot of the same attention to detail, a lot of the same attention to the quests, a lot of the same nuance that I really enjoyed in The Witcher is here as well. So I was really worried about that. It seemed like kind of a left turn for them to do something like this, but I am hitting some of that CD Projekt Red richness,
Yeah, the storytelling too, right? Like,
exactly.
You want? Remember? I remember Witcher. We really enjoyed those side quests. I was like,
oh man, they were good. They're all good. Yeah,
that one with the ghost woman in the tower. Like so many were like, wow. But I want to say one more thing because I forgot. The 2.0 brings up 3 things. 2.0 allows you to go to the spaceport, which is where the shuttles take off, the rockets. I may have a video going up on Glitch to the Ground. Check it out on TikTok, because you could never go there. And that was a really big deal to me, to us nerds who have been playing it for 200 hours. And then also lack of empathy. That side quest that was always bugged is fixed.
Okay, good. Oh, good. Excellent.
That was my last one out of 200 hours that never fixed.
I knew you were waiting on that one.
It fixed. And lastly, you can play 2 new video games, because you can play many of them. There's tons of arcades in this thing. Before, if you were playing vanilla old school, you couldn't play any of the games. And I thought that was the dumbest thing ever, because there's all these arcade games.
Right. Yeah.
Then they introduced, like a couple years ago, they introduced one game. It was a horse game, which is funny because I think it's based on the horse Roach.
Based on Roach. Yeah.
Yeah. And then just now with 2.0, you can play 2 new games, I believe. Yeah, 2 new games. And one of them is like Doom.
Oh, that's funny.
So it's Cyberpunk Doom, and I'm playing that one right now, and that's fun.
That's funny.
Couple updates. Overall though, you like it.
Yeah, I think it's really great. I'm really into I think the story quests are fantastic. I think the characters are really great. I've had a lot of moments. I've had a lot of like really interesting interactions with people. I think that's all really, really well done. And again, I don't have anything to compare it to, but the combat to me feels great.
We didn't even talk about it. Are you shooting or are you melee?
I'm kind of going back and forth between both, dude. I find so far, so this kind of gets back to the beginning, right? I feel like the beginning of the game didn't get off too well, and I was really kind of mystified by a lot of stuff in the gun system and the upgrade, crafting. I don't think crafting belongs in this game. I don't think it has.
No, it never has. By the way, I played it 250 hours. It never has.
So. Yeah, I don't think crafting should be here. I think the upgrade system is okay, but I wish they had explained it better. That was the thing that I just figured out this morning, where I knew upgrading was a thing, but I wasn't sure how to go about it, and I just now put the pieces together. So I'm like, oh, the light bulb went off. So I wish they had done that better. Upgrading, yes. Crafting, no. That's dumb. You can ignore it. It doesn't belong here. And there's other systems too. Like I'm doing the skill tree, and at first I didn't think that I wanted to be a hacker, but the more that I play, I think that maybe I do.
That's essentially the stealth option, because you can like take out whole bases just by hacking.
Yeah. And I feel like that whole thing should be, again, another quest that kind of explains that a little bit more, because I bought some stuff and I couldn't use it, and I wasn't sure why I couldn't use it. And I was just kind of mystified about the whole thing. I figured it out now, of course, but that could have been better. But now that I've gone through it, I think I'm going to respec. You can do it. You get one free respec from the menu, but you said you can do it in other ways too, right?
Well, and the DLC it lets you, I think, as well.
Okay.
And you can pay for it later as well. So
okay. So I'm probably going to respec maybe once I get a little further in. I'm not too far off, but as I'm kind of figuring out what I like to do and what I don't like to do and how the game works, I'm going to do like a slight tweak. I really do like combat hacks where you can do different things to people when you're fighting them. Like you can turn their eye implants off, or you can turn their guns off, or make them overheat in the middle of battle or something, which is pretty cool. So I'm leaning into that a little bit. I have not been too impressed with the mantis claws, or the mantis blades. I got those. They're okay. I mean, it's fine. They look cool, but I find a lot of weapons that are just straight up better than those.
Yeah.
And I think I may get rid of those just to put more cyber stuff in my arm that the blade is taking up the space for right now.
I know I had them, and the DLC introduces a whole new skill tree just for them.
Oh, really?
So
okay.
They really were like, hey, do you want to try these again, So I will say that if you have DLC, whatever. But I have a knife, right, or a katana that destroys compared to it. So
yeah, I think maybe they look really cool, but I think that I'm just finding stuff that's just straight up better. So I may do that, but I'm going back and forth between half and half, dude. I think half and half. But again, I think my big concern is just I wish they explained things better. Like I was doing some of the cyber psycho stuff where I just did not realize you're supposed to like neutralize them as opposed to kill them from the first time. So I killed the first guy and I felt bad about that. And then I figured it out afterwards, but then it was like, well, how do I neutralize somebody? Like I needed a quest where the lady's like, here are your 3 options. Now that you know how to do this, choose to do it or not. Like I didn't even know what I was doing in the beginning. And so fucked that up a little bit. And there was another thing that I didn't understand either.
To make you feel better, I think I killed every cyber psycho ever.
Did you? Does it change the ending of it?
No, I don't think so. No.
Oh, okay. Well,
you just gotta get rid of them. It's either you rehabilitate them or they die.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I neutralized, like knocked them out once I figured out how to do that. But that could have been a whole quest in itself. And there's a couple other aspects of where I'm just like, oh, like I went to the shooting range, for example. It's one of the earlier quests. You go to there's a guy who has a gun shop. And this would have been a perfect place to put some tutorials, but they didn't, which is weird. So you go to this gun shop, it's a shooting range contest, and I kept failing it over and over and over. And I'm like, why am I failing this it's like one of the earliest quests. And I look it up and they didn't explain, like they're like, shoot the targets. They didn't say shoot the targets a million times. So like these targets were popping up. I was shooting them one time, knocking them down, and I kept coming in last place. And I look at like a YouTube video. He's like, yeah, I get this automatic pistol and fire 10 shots to each target. I'm like, oh, well, you didn't say that. Like, I had no idea that was what I was supposed to do. I was shooting the targets. You didn't say anything about how many times. And along with that, I think the UI needs some work. I know they redid the UI. I still think it needs work because I find it really hard to tell what the properties of a gun are. Like, I had a pistol that's a really good automatic pistol. I had no idea it was automatic until I watched a YouTube video. I'm like, oh, that really cool gun you've got, I've got that. I wasn't using it. I didn't know it was good. They need to like outline some of that stuff more. Like, I can't tell what's what. And there's certain things I would like highlighted, but I mean, those are like kind of quibbles. Like, they're not like complaints or anything. Just, they kind of add to that general sense of like, I don't know what I'm doing in the beginning, but now that I've gotten through and I've figured out a few more things, like it's a pretty amazing game. I'm really enjoying it. I'm pretty glued to it so far. And I'm looking forward to playing more and advancing some of the stuff. I think it's really great. I think it's really great, and it's just head and shoulders above, that other game we're not going to mention right now. It's so far beyond it. It makes me laugh. Like it's funny. It's funny to me.
And it's funny. It's a comedy. But I think we really did explain the reasoning. Is again, it's this world and these characters that you were like get kind of entrenched in, and also I think. And feel real, but I also think the combat, just for me, it's like so visceral and fun.
It's way better. Yeah, it's
even
fun.
when I pick up a gun. Like I told you the other day, like I don't normally pick up guns, but there was a bug for a while where I couldn't use my melee, which sucked. I think it's fixed. But then I just picked up a gun I haven't shot in forever, and I was like, this feels really good,
Yeah.
But the melee, I'm Mr. Melee. Like it just feels beautiful.
Yeah,
like,
melee is great. Dude.
Beautiful.
Melee is great. Gunplay is great. I mean, it feels good. I mean, everything about it is really well done. I mean, again, not to keep doing comparisons, but like it feels different to play this than it does other games, and I think that works really well. So
let me say 2 quick things about the DLC, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
I can't say there's not really a spoiler, but Idris Elba is in the game, obviously in the DLC.
Oh yeah, he's in all the advertising.
In all the ads.
Yeah.
I will say that I don't like him. I don't know if I don't like the actual person. I don't know who he is. I'm sure he's a lovely person.
You don't like his character in the game.
I don't like his character in the game, and I don't really even see why it had to be him, the actor. Again, it's great likeness or whatever. I'm not even like the biggest fan. So if you're like, loving him in general, then this would be great for you.
I think they just put him in because I think he's a thirst trap.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I guess if you're thirsty for him, then fine. But I also like minus even if it was him and a different actor or actress. I just don't like that character.
Yeah, okay.
So that's kind of stinky because like a lot of it revolves around that person. So I don't like that. I fucking love the DLC though, so that's an interesting kind of dichotomy. And the other biggest con, and the only con I have because I'm almost done with the DLC, by the way, is that right now, currently, as of September 24th, there's a bug where who am I, Mr. Melee? If you do a strong melee attack, hard crash.
In one specific mission?
No, in anywhere ever.
Oh, what?
Right now.
Seriously?
Yes, right now.
Oh, wow.
I can't strong attack. And up until now, that was my main way to attack. I would just go up to someone and go strong attack, head off, and just knock their head off.
Yeah.
I can't do that anymore. I only have to just do regular light attacks.
That seems like a pretty major bug. I haven't heard anybody else talking about that.
Massive. I saw it on Twitter. Maybe it's not every weapon, but for me, it's been almost every weapon. And so I just get really afraid, and I don't hold it down too long. That said, my light attacks, I annihilate everyone anyhow, but I can't do the main clean
Well,
strong
they gotta
one.
fix that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's a good time for you to just become Mr. Gunshooty for a while.
No, I just do light attacks.
All right.
I like it enough. Oh, and lastly, is they added a critical hit, which they never had before with Melee. So after you do a bunch enough hits, it goes like finisher, and you hit a finisher, and it feels good.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I fucking love this
Excellent.
game. I love the DLC. The DLC's fucking awesome. I've had special moments in it. I love it.
Okay, so let's put a pin in this for now.
Yeah.
Let's come back the next time you're on the show, whether that's next week or the week after, whenever it is you come back. Let's give a definitive score for the Phantom of Liberty DLC. Wait till you finish it. Come back. Give us a score.
Yeah, you can because you will be a while for now.
Yeah, it'll be hours and hours and hours for me. But I will say, as someone who is coming to this game fresh, I'm extremely impressed. I think it's really, really well done. I think it's better than I thought it was going to be. Great writing, great quest design, great dialogue. It's just pretty much a kick-ass CD Projekt Red game, which I'm really happy about. So I'm going to dig deep into this. Carlos is going to finish the DLC. We'll come back and talk about it some more. And but so far, absolutely a thumbs up for sure.
I'm so glad you're liking it. Would you call it preem?
It's pretty preem. It's pretty preem, Chum.
Yeah. Thanks, Chum. I'm glad, Chum.
All right, let's Delta.
Let's Delta out of this
Let's
podcast.
Delta out of
Although
this.
before we Delta, let's just start adding that like slang to the show. Before we Delta, can we talk about a couple other things really
Yeah,
quickly?
I got a couple things. What do you got that's non-game related or game adjacent or whatever you got? What do you got?
Everybody needs to watch and binge watch. It's perfect for binge watching. The show, The Other Black Girl.
It's on our list.
Good.
It's on our list.
Okay. It's if you like Get Out, there you go. That's it. That's my thing. If you like Get Out, which why wouldn't you? It's fucking fantastic.
Sure.
It's important. I think this fucking show is important, as well as it's a horror mystery show. It's actually more mystery than horror. You would think it'd be like it starts off kind of scary a little way, but it's not like a scary monsters and ghosts thing. It's just kind of creepy as hell, and then it gets like more mystery and more like what the fuck's going on, you know?
Yeah, the trailer looked pretty killer. We're gonna hit it as soon as we
fucking
finish some other shows.
I finished the finale last night, so I just like the statement they basically get to at the end of it too.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Everybody go watch it.
Excellent.
And also Over the Garden Wall.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so everybody says that. Oh yeah, they say this is the fall season, time to watch it. I had never finished it.
Oh really? I watched
What's
it when it first
wrong
came
with
out
me?
a while ago. Yeah,
I know. I love it. Elijah Wood, whatever. It's fucking great. It feels
And
like Adventure Time, but fantasy, but like fall.
Did you finish it now?
No, I'm in the middle of it now because like
okay, yeah.
There's like 2 episodes I didn't finish, and I was
They
like,
take a
holy shit.
big. I'm not going to spoil it. I mean, I don't know if you've been spoiled on it already, but there's
Hasn't, so,
definitely
yeah.
there's stuff in there.
love it.
So finish that. Yeah,
I
Over the Garden
fucking
Wall.
love it. Yeah,
Good stuff. All right,
That's
cool.
it.
All right. For me, one good and one bad. I feel like I need to do a PSA for a movie called Better Watch Out. My wife and I really love horror comedy. It's one of our favorite genres. And we were in the mood to watch one for a date night. We had a date night on Friday. We're like, kids occupied. Mom and dad can go out and get some tacos. We had some fucking killer tacos, dude. Oh my God.
Tacos.
Oh, fuck, dude. The tacos were so good. The best tacos I've ever had in Seattle, I think. Was raving about those tacos to anybody that would listen. Anyway, we got home and we're like, okay, let's have some ice cream. Let's watch a movie. Let's do that. and we had like a million things on our list, and we're like, oh, let's pick one. We picked a movie called Better Watch Out. The trailer is extremely misleading, and they did it intentionally, and I hate them for it. So I'm gonna spoil this movie. So if you don't want to be spoiled on Better Watch Out, then skip ahead a minute. But I feel like it is my duty as a citizen of the world to let people know how misleading that trailer is. When you watch the trailer, it seems like a slightly darker version of Home Alone. It seems like there's kids who are getting babysat by their babysitter. They get home invaded by creepos, and then you see the kids. They even reference Home Alone a couple times. They do the stuff from Home Alone, but like for real, like somebody getting hit with a can of paint in the face would fucking kill them, not just knock them for a loop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they do. That's what the trailer looks like, and we're like, okay, that seems kind of fun. Kids running around, Home Alone shenanigans, kill a couple bad guys. That seems like a good time. Super not what that movie is, even close.
Okay.
So just to spoil it really quickly, because we watched this movie and I felt like my soul was stained afterwards for watching this movie.
Jeez.
So what happens is, it's not about that. Even though the trailer wants you to believe that, what happens is one of the kids is a fucking stone cold sociopath, and he is actually the killer. And most of the movie is him enacting his schemes, his little sadistic schemes on everybody in the house. And so he's like stabbing people, his friends.
What?
It's like this weird, fucked up, like just scheme that he had to get revenge on people and to act out his sexual fantasies and stuff.
Terrible.
And it was gross. We felt super gross. The trailer doesn't make it at all seem like that's what it is, but it is. They catch you by surprise because you think this kid is going to be like the kid you're rooting for, and actually he turns out to be complete psychopath. And when we saw the reveal, we were almost going to bounce, but we're like, okay, so maybe he'll get his comeuppance, or maybe it'll turn around. And no, the movie is one of those movies that I really dislike, where it's really, really sadistic and mean-spirited, where you just watch a bad guy doing bad stuff to people for basically the entire movie.
Oh, I hate it. Fucking hate it.
Fucking hated it. I hated it. I felt really bad. I felt gross and dirty afterwards. My wife felt gross and dirty. We both were very disappointed that we ruined our date night by watching that fucking movie. So just as a heads up to anybody who may have watched this, I know I talk about horror comedy a lot. I know this is kind of seems like in the bucket, but this was a definite bait and switch on the part of that trailer. That trailer makes it look like a completely different movie, and that is not what the movie is. And I felt very hoodwinked and betrayed, and I did not appreciate that at all. So fuck
Gross.
that movie.
Fuck that movie.
Fuck that movie. Yeah, don't do that. Don't bait and switch your people like that. That's not
Especially
cool.
on date night. What the hell?
Yeah, that was really unfortunate. So that sucked. So yesterday we're like, okay, yesterday was a wash. Let's just watch a movie and get that taste out of our mouth, because that was just really gross. So we ended up watching Boys of County Hell. This was recommended by Trashylvania, good friend on Twitter and now on Blue Sky. I love Trash. He's a good guy. It's an Irish movie. It's about a cairn, like a pile of stones in an Irish field that's kind of like a tourist attraction. People come and knock it over, and why that's bad is it was holding like this 1,000-year-old vampire underneath it. And so when he gets unleashed, he gets, goes back to the town. Shenanigans ensue. But this is actually a really cool movie because, number one, it's Irish. And so, like, the approach of the whole movie is different. It's from a different country, different sensibilities. The landscapes and stuff are fucking hella beautiful. It made me want to go to Ireland, like, immediately. And also, the vampire, I guess, is based on a true Irish legend. It's a very different interpretation of vampire than you would think. I'm not going to spoil anything, but, like, it's not just about bite you on the neck and you burn up in daylight and stuff. Like, the rules were totally different, and everything about the movie was just very, very different. It was still a vampire technically, but not any vampire that you probably have interacted with. And in one point, this is not a spoiler, this is like in the trailers, but like the vampire is so powerful that when he walks through the town, people start like spontaneously bleeding, and all the blood runs through the ground towards him. And he just like absorbs it at a distance. Fucking gross and creepy as fuck, dude.
That's pretty fucking cool too.
Yeah, it was cool. And it was also a comedy. There's funny bits. There was laughs. It was a cool vampire, cool scenery. It was a great movie. Boys of County Hell is a great movie, and I'm really thankful to Trash for not representing that, for recommending it. So watch that. Watch that if you want to watch a horror comedy. Do not watch Better Watch Out.
Oh, watch that, and also upload season 3. Do you remember Upload? Did you ever watch
I love Upload. Is it up?
It's coming up October 20th, which
Oh,
is very
I'm so
soon.
excited. I'm so excited. I love
So
Upload,
we
dude.
might have mentioned on the show, but right now is a perfect time to binge Upload season 1 and 2.
Oh, those are so good.
Both seasons are great. I also agree. So it's on Amazon Prime Video. Not sponsored, but go check it out because Upload season 3 is coming soon.
Oh, I got to go tell the wife it's another game soon. Okay, good.
October
We're very
20th.
excited about that.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. All right, I got nothing else. You got anything else?
That's it. Let's Delta.
All right, let's Delta. That's a show. Let's see. Also, folks, if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to keep asking. If you'd leave a review, give us a share on social media, maybe most important of all, recommend us to a friend. That'd be greatly appreciated. Also, we want to get your questions and comments. Hit us up, sovideogamespodcast@gmail.com. Or you can hit us up individually. Carlos, where are we directing your traffic this week?
Here's my impassioned plea to follow me on my new accounts. Glitch to the ground is what I call it because, I play games wrong.
Now, are you saying glitch to the ground or
Through
glitch
the ground.
through the
Through
ground?
the ground.
Okay.
So it's GTTG.
Glitch through the ground.
Yeah.
Got it.
You can just Google search that. I think it works now. But anyways, it's my whole moniker is I play games wrong, which I talk about on the show all the time. The recent video I just put up is in Baldur's Gate, I got a cat drunk.
I saw that.
Yep, I successfully did it. It actually was a thing, and the cat really was drunk. So Glitch to the Ground on TikTok, but also on YouTube. We just hit our first 100 subscribers.
Hey, right on. Congratulations.
Yeah, so it's a brand new account. I'm starting. So there we go. It's on YouTube, Glitch to the Ground, and also TikTok.
All right, excellent. As for me, it's mostly Instagram, Twitter, and Blue Sky these days. You can hit me any one of those places. It's my name, BradGallaway, all A's, no O's. And that is going to do it for episode 355. Thank you so much again for joining us here on the So Video Games podcast, and we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week, Chooms.